Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a fine Tuesday morning. We're glad that you're here with us, whether you're listening terrestrially or on the iHeartRadio app. We love it either way, but we definitely would love, if you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, to share a link with a friend. Best way to support the show. Also, if you haven't downloaded the free iHeartRadio app, go ahead and do that today. We got a busy show coming up. We got a pair of tickets to see Depeche Mode at Pechanga Arena 2 nights from now. Tomorrow night, actually. Wednesday night. You're going to see this concert. Only way to get tickets is through this show. Completely sold out show. So be listening for those Depeche Mode tickets. Also, we have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld, celebrating the holidays over there. Also, we're going to be joined by Doc Dave Chow coming up. But I think we have to start the show here. Fletch was right. Fletch called it.
Yeah. I mean, he was so right.
We owe Fletch a burrito.
Please.
Jake Browning showed up.
That's right. 2 burritos?
Well, I think the deal was we're going to buy him a burrito and go halvesies, and he was going to buy us both a burrito. That's how confident he was.
Wow.
But if he wants 2 burritos, we can certainly do that. We just have to watch him scarf them down. We have to make sure he eats them. But yeah, so the Cincinnati Bengals win, 10-point dogs on the road, Monday Night Football with a backup quarterback. We'll get to the Jaguars quarterbacks issues in a second here, but let's let Fletch take your victory lap here. So, I mean, how did you do it, Fletch? How did you know?
It's a lot more fun when you guys are reluctant to give me any sort of credit, and I have to force it out of you, and it's torturous for you guys as much as it is for anyone else.
No,
but when you
dude,
just come off the bat and just say, Fletch, you were right. Yeah, I mean, I guess a blind squirrel gets its nut every once in a while. There's just something disappointing about this.
Why are you being so humble here?
It's not as much fun. I like to force it out of you guys and get you angry.
Wait a second, Fletch. I mean,
did you go into the future? Did you know there was going to be a Trevor Lawrence injury?
I just had a feeling in my gut. I trust my gut. I don't like this right now. I much more appreciate it when you guys just call me stupid over and over again, and I get to pry it and take it out like a tooth during a surgery.
No, dude, this was crazy. You called it.
See, because now he's doing the thing where he's making me look like I just got super lucky.
You really saw this coming. You looked at the numbers. You've obviously studied a lot of film, right?
You broke it down.
This is not fun.
You looked at the betting line and you were like, 10 points.
And those 2 guys took the Jags, so I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals.
If you want to go back to yesterday, I said 10 is a lot of points. I don't think the Bengals will win, but I think they cover because Jake Browning's not that bad. He was a good quarterback in college.
Where did he play?
Washington.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Husky.
He was?
Mm-hmm. And in high school?
I don't know, but he set all sorts of records.
Some.
Paris says, hey, Fletch, what 2 burritos are you getting from Big Rich and TD? I really like California, but I think it's only 1 burrito. That's fine.
All right. Yeah. Nothing beats a California burrito.
And you know what? As little as you make me feel, I feel big today.
You should. You
should
feel
inch gained.
Every single bit of that 5'10".
It was a very exciting, at least first half. It was an exciting game, but the first half of that game was incredible.
Dude,
and I'm like, what? Wait, hold on. This is now the best primetime game? Is that what we're watching?
We were. I don't know about you guys, but I was totally accepting of the fact that this was going to be a turnoff game for me. At some point, I was going to be like, yeah, I don't really want to watch the Cincinnati Bengals get just mopped up all over the field. But Jake Browning, to his credit, played arguably the game of his life. These are fun games, especially for a young player in the league, because that dude's phone exploded.
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't expected to be the starter this season. And he's got a lot of family and friends and former teammates who are super pumped for him, former coaches. And so when you go out there on a primetime game or in a playoff moment where the spotlight is on you and you shine, holy smoke. So congrats to Jake Browning. That's an unbelievable job, and a job well done by the Cincinnati Bengals overall as a team, because that's a gutty win on the road, especially when you're playing man down. The best player on your field is on the bench.
Yeah, I think Zach Taylor's stock probably went up a little bit last night. You could tell that game plan coming in, going up against Jacksonville, who is without a doubt one of the hottest teams in football going into that game. Zach Taylor just put together an excellent game plan, and you could see it from the start. They started off with Jake Browning basically literally throwing behind the line of scrimmage and just trying to get their athletes into some sort of space and get open. And then as the second quarter comes along, he has a little confidence. So Zach Taylor adjusts a little bit. They start throwing the ball down the field. Now the defense was already committed for Jacksonville to playing up because they were thinking, oh, this guy's not going to throw down the field. We don't have to worry about that. And then he starts torching them in the second quarter. Jamar Chase, big gains all over the place. T. Higgins had a little bit of a comeback night. Tyler Boyd makes the mistake of the season in the fourth quarter, but we'll get to that. But didn't you guys just have the feeling the entire time that we've been robbed of Lawrence Burrow? But then Jake Browning made it a little more palatable.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I have my morning monologue really is surrounding the backup quarterbacks that we've seen play so far. I like watching good football, and what we saw from the Cincinnati Bengals, if I'm being perfectly honest, is a very well schemed game. I agree with what you said about Zach Taylor. He really hid a lot of Jake Browning's limitations, and even though there were some shots taken downfield, where he majored in was just making the right choice on every single pass route. I mean, he's clearly a talented quarterback in terms of he studies his playbook, he studies film, he understands where to go with the football. And that's day one stuff. That's square one, base one stuff. If you can't do that, you really can't play in this league. So he's got enough to do that. Now, is he going to be a long-term starter in this league? We'll see. I mean, a game like that, you got 5 left on this docket. He's got a half season about to prove his salt. And it may not be with the Bengals, but he may sign a long-term contract elsewhere. I mean, this is how stories like that are made.
Now, TD put on the rundown, and he put it in a joking way, but I do think there's some real comparisons here. Move over, Brock. Jake the Snake is here, because he kind of looks similar.
No. That's a former professional wrestler.
That is correct.
Do you want me to say Big Snake Jake?
Thank you.
There we go.
Big Snake Jake.
That was named by Rich Orberger last night as we were comparing him to Big Sock Brock.
Now, here's the real comparison. Both of these guys played a ton of football before playing in the NFL.
Yes.
I mean, Jake Browning is, I think, the leading passer in Pac-12 history, more passing yards than anyone in Pac-12 history, which that's just an insane thing to think about, thinking about the history of that conference. So when you have a quarterback coming into the NFL who's played a ton of football, taken a bunch of snaps, a la Brock Purdy, a la Jake Browning, and not necessarily
Big
the
Snake.
Trey Lances of the world who come in and look super inexperienced. I thought Jake Browning looked very experienced last night when he came in. I thought he looked very calm, cool, and collected throwing the football.
Yeah, I also thought that he had an awesome mustache until after the game, and I noticed he had a full beard. And I was a little bummed.
Yeah.
A little bummed. So if you could shave that down, Big Snake, we would like that a lot.
We would prefer just a mustache. Thank you.
That is correct.
You know, now this is a guy who has been through a lot. You mentioned his 4 years at Washington. I remember back when UW made it to their first playoff when the new format came out. He had a shoulder injury. I believe it was prior to facing Alabama. They lose that game, obviously, in the postseason of the college football playoff. And when you think about what you just said, he's been through the wars in college. He played a full 4 years. He led a conference in passing. It is reminiscent of what Brock Purdy did at Iowa State. And then we start thinking about what we've seen from some of these other high caliber quarterbacks who've come out of college football recently, or I should say highly touted quarterbacks who've come out of college football lately. They leave early. They don't have a ton of experience. They're not seeing a ton of football. And so you have these 20, 21-year-old guys, really 21, 22-year-old guys coming into the league where they're foisted into action and they're still maturing, and they haven't played a lot of football. If you think about the amount of time from their last snap in high school to their first start in the NFL, some of these guys, it's like a span of maybe 12 games before they get their first start.
Right.
Because they spent a year on the bench at the college level. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Look, there was some pretty fun moments in that game, and it almost looked like Big Snake Jake was playing with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was this confidence level of like, I mean, I don't know, I'm here, I got a shot, might as well give it a go, which was fun, and it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air on that sense of watching a game at least that was competitive. You know, something that was going to keep him in it here, because I honestly thought this was going to be a complete blowout. I thought this Bengals offense was going to look completely terrible. Everybody stepped up in a big way. And by the way, the defensive side of the ball, they called a great game. I mean, a great game. It was a lot of great strategy there. And Trevor Lawrence goes down with that ankle injury. When he went down, I thought, uh-oh, here we go again. Also, he walked back to the locker room, which is great. However, they kept going to him. They were showing a clip of him walking back there, and it was like a 10-minute ordeal. Why wouldn't you get the cart?
That was a mile-long tunnel back to the locker room.
I don't really get it. I mean, that's your home field. I mean, maybe he told them no. And which it's the athlete's decision whether he wants to get on a cart or not. So maybe he told them no, but it was bizarre because I remember that one tunnel shot. I was like, it is going to take, I mean, even if this is a relatively close walk, this is going to take him forever.
He's only taken 1-inch steps.
Well, TD was right. They went back to it like 4 times as he was walking back to the tunnel. But when he first got hurt, I had the same reaction, TD. I was like, well, his season's done. Because it looked like he snapped his ankle in half.
His foot went backwards.
But then they listed him as questionable right off the jump.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's commonplace, but I feel like what we saw on TV, everyone knew that he was not questionable to return. He was out.
Well, it was late in the game. It's late in the fourth quarter. Right. You're going to be exceedingly careful with your quarterback. And obviously, Doc David Chow jumped on Twitter, immediately gave us his diagnosis or prognosis on what he saw on film. And what he saw was a sprained ankle. And what he figured was this won't be season ending. And per sources now coming out today, this morning, it looks to be a sprained ankle. Further testing will be done throughout the early portion of the week and updates will be available. But you look at Jacksonville and they fall to an 8-4 record on the season. And you start thinking about the picture in the AFC and it's crazy. I mean, the Texans, and I said this a couple of weeks back, like the Texans could be division winners. Now that's starting to become a reality because, look, I understand it's not season ending, but just go back and rewind to the beginning of the season when Joe Burrow had a sprained calf or a strained calf and how tough of a time it was for Cincy with an injured starting quarterback. If the Jaguars struggle because Lawrence is struggling with his health late in the season and he's your best option, because I think CJ Beathard is a very nice quarterback as a backup in this league. I don't think he's going to be a Jake Browning or he has that kind of action in him.
Right.
But Trevor Lawrence, if he's not healthy, the Jacksonville Jaguars' hopes start to diminish.
Well, and if you look at the rest of their schedule, the last 5 games here, without Trevor Lawrence the next couple weeks, it could get dicey. I mean, they've got the Browns, which have an excellent defense.
Yeah.
And then they play the Ravens, who have a pretty good defense. Then they get a little bit of reprieve, Buccaneers, Panthers, Titans, which at that point, if it's just a sprained ankle, you would think Trevor Lawrence is back. But man, you don't want your backup in these next 2 games, and then you're allowing that opportunity for the Texans to catch up.
So wait, are the next 2 the Browns and the Ravens? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Correct.
Dear Lord, I am not putting Trevor Lawrence in either of those games because those defenses will hit the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. They'll get after quarterback. But it may be one of those situations where during practice week, he's looking okay. He's moving around. We'll find out.
Well, Doc Chow put on Twitter, he said, not impossible he plays next week against the Browns with a heavy tape job on his ankle.
Right.
So who knows what that does to mobility? Who knows what the risk of re-injury is? Like, that's all stuff for the doctors to figure out. We'll ask Doc Chow coming up at 8:30 this morning. But when you look at that, knowing that Myles Garrett is waiting for you a week from now, that seems like too tall a mountain to climb.
You got 8 wins for the Jags. You have Houston with 7 wins, sitting a game outside of the postseason right now, tied with the Indianapolis Colts at 7-8. So the Colts are in, the Houston Texans are out, but Texans get a win. Jaguars continue to falter. All of a sudden, the division is in peril. So you could see the Texans jump up to the 4th place spot in the AFC. Tip off at 6. Well, we've got coming up tonight on San Diego Sports 760, San Diego State Aztecs taking on Grand Canyon after surviving a battle against the Tritons of UC San Diego, a 63-62 road victory. We call it a road victory. It was here in San Diego in La Jolla. That close to home battle Friday night propelled the Aztecs to a 7-1 record on the season.
Back in the top 25, baby.
Yeah. Okay, so the AP polling, is it
number
official?
25?
Okay, good deal. Finally, a little national attention paid to a 7-1 program here locally. All right, so that game against GCU tips off at 6 p.m. tonight on San Diego Sports 760. Pregame underway at 5:30 on your home of the Aztecs right here, San Diego Sports 760. We also had the quarterfinals of the NBA in-season tournament start up last night. Pacers outshine the Celtics 122-112. Pelicans take down Sacramento 127-117 final there. Coming up tonight in the quarterfinals, we got the Knicks at Bucks, Suns at Lakers. And so now we go to our main man, Fletch, who is an ardent defender of the in-season tournament. So how are all the games last night, dude?
I don't know. I was watching football.
Wait.
You guys are taking this one thing that I said a few weeks ago, and you're making it seem like I'm the guy for the NBA in-season tournament. I'm just saying we're not allowed to talk crap about it until it's actually a bad product. I don't know if it's been good or bad. I haven't been watching.
What?
Hold on.
Wait a second. It's
How do
like
you
I'm not an NBA fan. I've never claimed to be an NBA fan.
so.
I like college.
Wait a second. So you watch college basketball. You understand how the game's played. You haven't watched a single minute of in-season tournament action, to your knowledge.
No, I have.
Okay, yeah. During the group stage.
Yeah,
Okay. And what did you think of those games that you watched?
they're basketball games.
Okay. So didn't watch any of the knockout stage. Any plans to watch Knicks, Bucks, Suns, Lakers tonight?
No, because the Aztecs will be on college basketball.
Okay.
Well,
So he's
good.
going to watch none of the in-season tournament.
But-
So it's really blowing your doors off
Here was my take that we can judge it after it's done.
after you watch it.
It's not
hold on.
fair
After you
to
watch
talk a
Wait.
bunch of crap about something before it even begins,
After
and that's what you guys were
watch
doing.
it. You were saying, let's watch it and see if it's any good. You haven't watched any of it.
And I don't really plan to. It hasn't done anything for me yet.
Fletch.
But I'm not the target audience here.
Fletch, did you ever drink Crystal Pepsi?
No, I don't know what that is.
Because it sucked. It went away. It was gone. They tried it. It didn't work. This in-season tournament
we don't
does
even
not
know
work.
what the ratings are
I
yet.
don't even know when it happens. I don't even know what
Rich
happens.
just told you.
I understand, but it's like a secret. Like
Well,
it just pops up to me in
here's
one
the thing.
day.
He doesn't. TD doesn't have to defend anything because he said, "I think this is stupid." You're the one who was like, "This is not stupid. We don't know if it's stupid until we watch."
Exactly.
You-
Is that
and
so
then-
bad to say?
And then you didn't watch any of it.
Your
I don't want to
caveat-
watch any of it. It's not for me, but I'm saying we can't judge it beforehand.
Your
It's like
caveat
saying-
to this, Fletch, was at least they're trying something.
Oh,
Yeah. I really, you guys are saying this like I'm saying these asinine things. I don't think any of it's that crazy.
I just think it's odd that not even the players know what the hell is going on. And then when you defended it the first time, you're like, it's easy to understand. All you have to do is read.
Just because it's easy to understand doesn't mean it's something that I'm super enthused about. I'm just
Okay,
saying
hang
it's
on.
tough
Just
to
saying
judge.
I don't
Wait, you
understand
said it was easy. Okay, so when are the semifinals?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're coming up. I know they're in the quarterfinals right now.
Yeah, well, you know that because I just said it. So you don't know the date of the semis?
Rich, I don't care
I
about the
think it's after
NBA.
the quarters.
They're coming up, and then the there's going to be a $500,000
well, I
prize.
get it.
Cool.
Okay,
Hopefully, this gets more
Ardent-
eyes to the
Ardent-
NBA. Hopefully, it creates
honestly-
more
Ardent
excitement.
defender of the in-season tournament.
I'm
Ben
not an
Fletcher with
excited
his
NBA
update
fan to
there.
begin with. Talk to me once the NFL and college basketball are over. Then I'll watch the NBA because there's nothing else left. But they're like third tier on my list.
I honestly know more about the band Semisonic than I do the semifinals. And the only thing I know about Semisonic is they have one song called Closing Time.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. For my monologue this morning, I'm going with wide receivers throwing passes because I think that that's something that should be retired from the NFL. The Philly special was just that. It was special. We don't need to revisit this every single week and every team have a play in their playbook that's called something fun in order to get a wide receiver on some sort of trick play, end around reversal to throw a pass. You know why they're wide receivers? Because they're good at catching the ball. You know why quarterbacks are quarterbacks? Because they're good at throwing the ball. Tyler Boyd last night made one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen on an NFL field when the Bengals tried to do just that. They tried to catch off or the Jaguars off guard, and Tyler Boyd throws one of the worst interceptions in history, I think. And what was the guy's name? Was it Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
So Josh Allen, 6'5". Rich, you put it in our text last night. He must have been invisible. Yeah, he must have been because Tyler Boyd literally looked like he was trying to throw a touchdown pass to Josh Allen.
He succeeded.
Almost.
Almost.
It was a little lobber too. It wasn't like there was a lot of heat on that thing.
I'm done with wide receivers throwing. Unless your name is like if you were a former college quarterback
if
or
Brock
you were
Purdy was a receiver, he'd be allowed to throw.
Yeah.
Who?
Yes. Brock Purdy was.
No, he's a quarterback. He's good at throwing.
I actually tend to lean in the direction that Fletch is leaning. Look, trick plays are fun, but yeah, linemen block, tight ends they block and catch, running backs run. You know, it's there's job responsibilities, but yeah, you can have those special moments based on a gimmick play.
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't get hurt, the Jags will win that game, and it's because of that play. Like that was a swing moment in the game.
Highly possible.
Yeah,
highly possible.
Yeah.
It could have been the turnover that determined the game. Because it turned into points for the Jags. All right, my morning monologue is on backup quarterbacks getting run in the NFL this season. Now, this is going to sound snobby, and I hate myself for saying this because I love opportunities for young players to get chances in the NFL, but I miss our starting quarterbacks. I love Jake Browning, Big Snake Jake. He had a big night against the Jags on Monday Night Football. But I got to tell you, I really miss me some Joe Burrow. I hate just about everything the New York Jets have done this season. But I'll tell you what, I would have liked it a lot better if Aaron Rodgers was their starting quarterback. Shoot, I even miss Kirk Cousins. Okay? The Pastronaut was fun, but we've seen what happens when a backup takes over time and time again in the NFL. There's a lot of excitement. There's a flurry of action. It takes a little time for defenses to figure them out, and all of a sudden they fall back down to earth. It's a trajectory that repeats itself time and time again. The NFL is really hard, and it's late in the season. We're going to see a lot of bad quarterback play as the weather gets sloppier, as these defenses really hone to a fine edge, and they start attacking offenses the way we know they will in the month of December. I am tired of watching backup quarterbacks play this season.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, it's a little bit of that preseason feeling where I know preseason, the games don't matter. That's probably the biggest reason I don't care for preseason. Number two is I want to see the starters. I want to see the big boys. I want to see the talent out on the field. So I agree with you here, Rich.
Is there anything to the fact that maybe this generation of quarterback is a little soft? Like, because you think about the Iron Man that we used to have,
or
Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers never miss games,
or they're just getting hit harder.
Could be. Yeah. I mean,
there's so many more rules to protect the quarterback now, TD. I say screw it. Put the rules back to the old way.
Yeah. Leather helmets.
Man, prison rules.
Yeah, that's right.
We're taking teeth with us.
I'm going to kind of tee off on what you just said here, Rich. But it's, well, look, I was going to jump on here. I was going to talk about a solution to end world hunger. Then this popped into my head in the shower.
Wait, this is whatever this is way better.
This is a solution.
World hunger for a different day.
A solution to all the injuries happening around the NFL. Why aren't we using science to fix this problem? And I'm talking human cloning. Just use somatic cell nuclear transfer. Remove all the chromosomes from the egg to create an inoculated egg. Replace the chromosomes with a nucleus taken from a somatic cell of the individual embryo to be cloned. It's so simple.
Yeah,
it's so simple. Look at the pros. Replacement parts. Replacement players, 2 Mahomes, 4 Burrows, 6 Rodgers, 30 Purdy's, no missed games, appearances, kids' birthday parties, magic acts. The pros go on and on. The cons? The silence is deafening. NFL, think about it.
Clone starting quarterbacks. You know what? Honestly, I think you're onto something.
It's a simple fix.
Until evil Commissioner Roger Goodell executes Order 66.
Can you imagine, though?
Order 66, by the way, it's world domination using starting quarterbacks as his army militia to dominate world politics and take over the economic system as we know it.
Right. No, Order 66 is from Star Wars. It's when the Empire says, execute Order 66, and all the clones turn on all the Jedi.
Right,
Gosh,
right.
Damn it. Okay, that's even worse.
Can you imagine
because what would we do without the Jedis?
Can you imagine the trade value of a Patrick Mahomes, though? If you're like, look, you can have this quarterback for life. Infinite number of Patrick Mahomes.
And what was the sheep?
Was it Dolly?
Know.
Yeah, it was Dolly.
Oh, Dolly the sheep.
Yeah, it was Dolly.
Imagine Dolly the Mahomes.
Wait a second. Would he be woolly?
Mm-hmm.
Sheepskin? All right, guys, look. If you're tired of the Eagles looking pretty dominant, even though they just lost, they may be adding to their collection of talent coming up very shortly here this season. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about my feet. Good Feet Store has actually not only saved my feet, but my back. Most importantly, my back. Woke up every day with back pain. really struggle getting out of bed some mornings after a long playing career in the NFL. I had aches and pains everywhere: hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, foot pain. And wearing these arch supports from the Good Feet store has really helped resolve a lot of those issues. So what you do is you go to the Good Feet store. They give you a try before you buy situation. Test walk in these arch supports. They make sure they have the perfect fit for your lifestyle, your footwear, your profession. You walk out of there, and within a week for me, I felt much better. I realized the back pain was reducing. Now it's almost gone. In terms of the hip pain, that's disappeared. The knee pain melted away. And my feet, my ankles, I mean, after a long day on the golf course or walking around with the kids at a theme park or doing anything on my feet for a while, I feel great. And I wish that for you as well. The place to start your new life, really a new lease on life, is at the Good Feet store. So get down to one of their 200 plus locations here in the US and overseas. Check out goodfeet.com for more information.
Wow, wow. Turns out we're not as big of nerds as we thought we were, because there might be someone bigger. Also, the Eagles trying to get better. We'll explain next.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. We will begin with Monday Night Football, where the Bengals upset the Jags last night 34-31 in overtime in Jacksonville. Jaguars were 10-point favorites coming into this one. College hoops, Aztecs back in the AP Top 25 at 25. They're going to take on Grand Canyon tonight on the road. Tough road matchup. Grand Canyon has one of the better home court advantages in the country. Game tips off at 6 o'clock tonight. Pre-game coverage gets going at 5:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Heisman Trophy finalists have been announced in college football. LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, and Washington's Michael Penix Jr., as well as Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
It's Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. Happy Tuesday. We've got a couple giveaways for you. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration. It's happening now through January 7th, only at SeaWorld San Diego. And we also have a pair of tickets to go see Depeche Mode at Pechanga Arena. That's happening tomorrow night. Now, this concert is completely sold out, so the only way that you're going to get tickets is if you are listening right here. A pair today, a pair tomorrow. That's it. It's over with. Finito. Meanwhile, Fletch, you're getting text messages over some controversial things that you said last segment. Is this correct?
What'd I say?
What did he say?
Jedi?
Oh, yeah, Derek Togerson texting in, and apparently we use the word Jedis.
Oh, it's already pluralized. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad. You know what? Hang on a second. Fletch, sit out this segment. I want you to call the Union Tribune. We're posting a retraction. Apologies to Derek Togerson. You absolute nerd. I cannot believe we are actually humoring this conversation now. Get out of here, Derek.
He's not wrong.
No, he isn't wrong. No,
Derek, please just save some sex for the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, how is he even awake at this time? He should be sleeping from the ninesome he had with his harem of females who are banging down his door every night because he's having all this.
So don't say Jedis.
No. It's just Jedi.
It's just Jedi.
Jedi. Yeah, not Jedis.
Look, guys, we'll clean it up in post. Gosh, some things have to hit that inning room floor. I thought it was a good segment until now.
You completely blew it.
We blew it. So the Eagles obviously have some needs. You saw it against the San Francisco 49ers. That defense got ran through.
I missed that game. What happened?
It was a lot too little.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Who won?
The Niners.
The Niners eked out a win. Yeah.
You know what?
But Brock Purdy's not very good. He probably didn't have a very good game, right?
Brock looks like an MVP candidate.
Yeah,
he
does.
missed a lot.
Yeah.
You've missed a whole lot.
Can you imagine if Brock Purdy is MVP?
Wait, hang on a second.
Wait.
Fletch, you are a 49ers fan to your soul. If Brock went, what would be more? You've named your dog Brock after Brock Purdy. What would be more? What would be a better outcome this season? Brock Purdy wins an MVP or a Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Okay.
Not even close.
Not
and
even
by
close.
the way,
Okay.
Brock Purdy would tell you the same thing. Every single person in that Niners locker room would tell you the same thing. We need a Super Bowl in San Francisco. Like,
Okay.
it's been a while
You
since
haven't
we've
had
got
one.
one.
Oh, yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Since before I was born.
Yes.
My entire life as a Niners fan has been long suffering.
See, I grew up with the Niners being really good.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So, like, the Niners were always, top of the mountain until Tom Brady came along. And then it was the Patriots who couldn't be beat.
I hate that guy.
Well, before that, it was Dallas.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah,
know what I
it was
mean?
San
Like,
Francisco, Dallas.
So it was like Montana. Like, I was just born at the end of the Montana Steve Young run, and then it was when I was a kid, Dallas, and then the Patriots took over when I was in middle school, and they didn't relinquish the NFL until like 2 years ago. It's been ridiculous.
There was a number of years where the Dallas Cowboys kind of felt like the Chicago Bulls, where every season you're like, what the hell? How are they getting these players?
So what's crazy about Dallas, though, it was a pretty short window of time where they were super dominant, right?
Yes.
But everybody talks about it as if they owned like an entire decade.
Well, dynasties, I mean, before the Patriots, dynasties were short-lived. Dynasties were only like 5-year runs.
That's correct.
I mean, what New England did with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick will never be replicated. I mean, we can say that with some level of certainty.
The Chiefs have been to 5 straight AFC championship games.
Yeah.
Hell,
yeah,
it seems like there might be another one coming.
Could be, this, and typically, and to your point, typically this is kind of the time where the empire starts to crumble. Now we're starting to see cracks, but Tyreek leaves, they still win a Super Bowl, though. I don't know. They could end up being great for 30 years, I guess.
But the Chiefs, currently, they've got 2 Super Bowls with Mahomes, which is incredible. However, it's not Tom Brady 6-7 of them. It's not that yet. So not that the Chiefs are the Bills of the Cowboy dynasty era, but we don't talk about the Bills ever. The Bills went to 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about them, except they're like a joke. They were the second place team for 4 years.
In a row.
Jim Kelly, actually Frank Reich, who was recently fired as Carolina's head coach, was the backup the whole time, had some important moments in that run. Like there were a lot of names that from that team who are still, famous or working broadcast or still coaching today. And that's what it is with the Dallas Cowboys too. I mean, Aikman, we were just listening to his voice last night.
And Jason Garrett was his backup.
And by the way,
wild.
During that Dallas dynasty era, I felt like it was 91. They went 1-15. 92, they go 15-1 and win the Super Bowl. And then it starts.
When we look at the Philadelphia Eagles, right? We were just talking about the Buffalo Bills, always bridesmaid, never the bride. Could it be possible that the Eagles will just be hovering somewhere in the near distance of a Super Bowl victory and never quite get there with Jalen Hurts? Now they're trying to add the news out now after the shocking release of Shaquille Leonard, a great linebacker with the Colts for a long time. They may add him to their roster, and that defense needs help, especially after what happened against the 49ers.
Especially in the middle of the field, too. That's where the Niners had a lot of their success.
Yeah. Shaq Leonard could fix
It'd
a lot.
Huge.
Could fix a lot.
I think that'd be the perfect addition for that team. Now, what you worry about with the Eagles moving forward past this year is Jason Kelce talked about retirement last year. Lane Johnson talked about retirement last year. They came back for another bite at the apple to get a Super Bowl opportunity once again, and they're certainly doing that right now. But how much longer are those guys going to go? How much longer is this going to be the best offensive line in football? And the bigger question facing Eagles, what is Jalen Hurts without the best offensive line in football? And we don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I also find it fascinating, though, as we talk about Dallas, that Shaquille Leonard was in talks with the Eagles and the Cowboys. And I would have to imagine that he's looking at a team that has a potential Super Bowl run, and it must weigh much heavier out in Philadelphia than it does in Dallas at the moment.
And those two teams play each other this week.
Yeah, so, either side could have him. He chooses the Eagles, and you look at the Cowboys with what happened to their linebacker depth recently. I'm blanking on his name, but the kid out of Boise State,
the white guy,
yes,
Leighton Vander Esch.
Thank you, Leighton Vander Esch went down recently with that neck injury. Could be a career ender, by the way.
He's had 4 or 5 neck injuries now, man. It gets tough.
It does. I've had a couple of linebackers during the course of my career either played with or been friends with whose career ended based on neck injuries. It's a violent position, and so he's out of the lineup for them. Cowboys defense obviously gave up a ton of points in their most recent appearance, a win against the Seattle Seahawks. So that's the reason why they were trying to lure Shaquille Leonard. Also, just sort of floating out there, I'm pretty sure, if not mistaken, Zach Ertz is still a free agent.
Yeah, it looked like he had his team chosen. I'll have to go back, but that could also be an Eagles.
I mean, so you have opportunities here, and he used to play for the Eagles. So you have opportunities here for the Eagles to load up before the Super Bowl run here, because that's still a double-digit win team.
There was a 3-year stretch where it was like, if you didn't have Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, or George Kittle on your fantasy team, then you might as well not draft a tight end until the end.
Right.
But Zach Ertz has been kind of an afterthought the last couple of years, and it was all his success came with Carson Wentz. I don't know if he even has a relationship with Jalen Hurts, or if this Eagles team outside of the offensive line is really the same Eagles team that he left.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be very different, but I talk about this a lot because people forget how important this is. Familiarity in your environment. Like, I do understand a lot's changed around him, different coaches, different players, different teammates, but at least he knows where like the bathrooms are. At least he can get around Philadelphia. He's not going to get lost on his way to the facility. It just checks one box.
His credit union's probably still in Philadelphia.
Yeah, like he might even still own the home that he lived in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of reasons why it could be a much easier transition to coming back.
Speaking of easy transitions, the 3 of us were trying to lose weight, and we were having a really tough time doing it. SDFatLoss.com gave us the easiest transition into transforming our bodies. And now look at us. We're hot, sexy men.
Yeah,
So hot.
really
Especially right before the holiday parties. Call 858-665-3211. Get your free consultation with Miss Chloe and Wayne today. That's SDFatLoss.com. Miss Chloe and Wayne are our weight loss team. They've been guiding us through this entire progress, sending us text messages when they can feel a vibe through the force that we've been slacking, and they've been taking care of us the whole way, and it's led to great results. All three of us down over 30 pounds heading into the holiday season, where we know there's going to be temptations, right? But SDFatLoss.com, they give you the tools to avoid those temptations. And right now, guys, I don't know if you saw this come down yesterday. There is a special offer on the table.
What?
$200 off SDFatLoss.com for the holiday season.
Yep.
Get there right now. You're not going to get a better deal than this. If you've been thinking about it over the last couple months, as we've been telling you about our successes with SDFatLoss.com, but you've thought about, I don't really want to spend the money right now. Now's the time to do it. $200 off this program, which will change your life. Just look at the three of us. If we can do it, you without a doubt can do it. SDFatLoss.com is where you need to go today to get your free consultation.
All right, coming up next, you've heard of the Upright Citizens Brigade. We're going to give them a run for their money. Coming up next, we improv on the NFL. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We've got a big day today in terms of giveaways. SeaWorld tickets, Depeche Mode tickets. The only place you're going to be able to get Depeche Mode tickets is right here on this station. A completely sold out show for tomorrow night at Pechanga Arena. So keep listening for that pair coming up in just a little bit. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, welcome in. Share a link with a friend. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please do. Okay. So we had a discussion at break here. We were talking about an idea. Actually, it was last break. We were talking about an idea where maybe we could improv a little bit on the Heisman finalists. So let's do it. Fletch, you had an idea for a topic, and we have to all give one-word answers. Is that how this goes?
No. First things first. Let's start filming and clap.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's not how this goes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done. Second thing. So this is going to be, we're going to go around in a circle and we have to finish each other's sentence.
Okay.
So Rich, you're going to start it with one word. Travis says the next word. I say the next word, and we just go round and round for 1 minute until the timer
Got
goes
it.
off.
Okay. So check this out.
All right.
Do we have to worry about finishing the sentence in 3 words, or can it just
No.
keep going
It just-
and going? Okay.
This
Okay.
is
All right.
okay. So pretend you're at a podium,
Yes.
and you, Rich Ornberger, have just been announced as a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, and we're all going to be Rich Ornberger here, or someone who's better at football, quite frankly. So, Rich, you're going to start it. You have just been announced as a finalist, 1 of 4 for the Heisman Trophy of 2023. We're going to put 1 minute on the clock, and we're going to go. And this is how you had such a successful season.
All right. I'm a Heisman finalist.
3,
I'm on the podium.
2,
I
Love.
this,
room
And
my,
genitals.
because
win,
When I
touch
the,
football
it's
makes
me
feel
so
excited.
and
hard.
If
I
Went
to
the
store
I
would
very
intimately
get
you cannot say hard again.
I said the.
Oh, you said the? Okay. Okay. The watermelon.
and
Put
A
milk
inside.
and that's how you play one-word sentences. Okay, so the Heisman finalists are Michael Penix Jr., are Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix.
Good Lord.
I
Gotta
don't-
put the milk inside.
Dude, who knows? I mean, there are so many things wrong with what just happened.
What's important is we tried.
Oh,
Much
Is-
like the NBA in season tournament.
Is that
oh
important?
my gosh. Okay, so those 3 get invited to New York. I don't know if we're ever going to do that again.
Maybe not. Plus one more, by the way. Marvin Harrison Jr. Is that
Oh,
his name?
okay. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he's going to New York too.
Yeah, so 4 finalists.
Wow.
LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, Washington's Michael Penix Jr., Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison.
Okay, so
Wow.
all 4 get an invite. What's interesting about this is having a receiver up there. Obviously, a non-quarterback winning the Heisman is something that rarely, if ever, happens.
Now, Rich, all 3 of those quarterbacks, 5th-year transfers.
Correct. Which is going to be, I think, kind of the running theme here in college football. But we could get to that at a different time. The reality of the situation is Penix Jr., undefeated season, conference championship, beat Oregon twice. Sort of feels like he overshines Bo Nix in this Heisman race. Marvin Harrison Jr., I love his game, but I don't think he has a chance of winning it. He's a non-quarterback.
So Devontae Smith, was he the last non-quarterback to win with Alabama?
I don't think he won the Heisman.
I think he did, but his stats were so outrageously other.
Devontae Smith won the Heisman?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Yeah, look that up. I don't know if he won the Heisman. So it comes down
First
to
wide receiver to win the Heisman since Desmond Howard in 1991,
wow.
Devontae Smith.
I did not
That was 2 years ago, Alabama?
blank that out
3
completely.
years ago?
Devontae Smith, by the way, well, I don't want to get distracted. So Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels out of LSU. The difference here is record and narrative, right? So LSU disappointing season compared to what Washington's doing because their season's not done yet. I mean, if I'm going to guess today who wins it, it's going to be Penix Jr. That's my guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that.
However,
that's got to be where the money's at.
There's a lot of people who think Daniels is going to win because he just had video game numbers like Lamar Jackson on, I believe it was a 3-loss Louisville team when he won his Heisman. They weren't going to win a national champion or even go to a particularly great bowl, but you have that type of season where you're a great rusher, you're scoring touchdowns with your legs and your arm. All of a sudden it switches the conversation.
When this list got announced yesterday, I just started to immediately feel really bad for Jordan Travis because he absolutely would have won the Heisman this year had he stayed healthy. And Florida State finished the way they did. I think about the Heisman resume opportunities he would have had at the end of the year. I mean, it's, assuming that they still win the games they won, like I do think he would be the outright favorite to win Heisman.
I'm still chapped about Florida State not getting the call.
Yeah, Florida State getting snubbed from the playoffs, it stings and it hurts, and it's a dirty game that we play here in sports media, but you knew somebody was going to go home extremely unhappy, and you knew that the networks weren't going to be the people who were unhappy. Like, that's just a reality. The people who are going to be hurt are the people who did all the hard work, and now the networks are going to benefit from having Alabama and Texas.
Have you seen all the conspiracy theories online because Kirk Herbstreit had the Final Four helmets in his camera view when he was doing a hit on ESPN 20 minutes before it was announced?
Yeah.
So they all think ESPN was on the phone with them saying, hey, no, these are our 4 teams.
Wait a second. 100% everybody who is on the television knew. I mean, it's not even close. Of course they knew.
Yeah.
They're not reacting in real time. They're literally
like they're opening up a envelope from the Grammys.
Yeah, they're literally reading a prompter.
No, I know, but people online are upset because they think that there was some collusion between ESPN and the bowl committee, which I'm pretty sure is ESPN.
That is true, but it has nothing to do with Kirk Herbstreit having the helmets. He was being risque. He was doing something, but of course they're all going to get that information.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of collusion there. I mean, the ESPN wants the biggest ratings they can get.
Yeah. Well, it's just the way this business works, and unfortunately for Florida State, they're going to be searching. We have some NFL updates on the other side. Maybe we'll spin the wheel of football. That was a lot of fun yesterday. We could do that again. Also, we got to talk about name, image, and likeness and starting quarterback. Something interesting about that Heisman conversation perked my interest. And we have an update on Juan Soto. That's on the other side as well. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on a Tuesday.
We're number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. We'll begin with Monday Night Football. Bengals upset the Jags last night, 34-31 in overtime. College hoops, Aztecs back in the AP Top 25. They're number 25. They're taking on Grand Canyon tonight on the road, one of the toughest road environments in the country. Game tips off at 6. Pre-game coverage gets going at 5:30 tonight right here on San Diego Sports 760. Heisman Trophy finalists have been announced in college football. LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, and Washington's Michael Penix Jr., as well as wide receiver from Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this Tuesday morning. We have SeaWorld passes, a 4-pack to give away. Celebrate the holidays at SeaWorld now through January 7th. We've got those Depeche Mode tickets coming up, a pair to the sold-out show at Pechanga Arena. That's coming up tomorrow night. This is the only place to grab tickets to that show. Also coming up on the show, we're going to have a full injury report from Doc David Chow. He's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour to update us on all the injuries around the NFL, but namely Trevor Lawrence, who gets injured last night in the loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Jaguars quarterback downed in the fourth quarter with an ankle injury. So we'll get an update there. And we're going to play Wheel of Football. We're going to have a couple of topics to spin through on the wheel here coming up in a few minutes. But first, let's get to a part of the conversation that you brought up, Ben, about name, image, and likeness and fifth-year transfer quarterbacks. The 3 quarterbacks named as finalists for the Heisman Trophy all came from elsewhere to the program that they're representing in New York for the Heisman. That is a really strange thing that's only recent. That's not been the case in the past at all. Like normally we think like quarterback position, like you got to study, be a long tenured player.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Earn your stripes, learn the system, work with the coach, and then boom, maybe one day you can earn the starting job. Maybe one day you could be great, and then maybe one day you can win a Heisman.
How much of this is teams learning from what LSU did with Joe Burrow, bringing him in from Ohio State after he sat behind for a couple years, and then he comes into LSU, all of a sudden he's the best quarterback in the country. Like, how much of this is just seeing the success that other programs have had, bringing in quarterbacks specifically, I'm talking about, and them coming in and finishing off their career after learning everything somewhere else?
Some of it, but the biggest part of it is the availability. So before, you're right, there were definitely certain players who were upset with their standing on certain rosters and felt they were good enough to start at major programs, and they were just buried on a depth chart. So there's desperation elsewhere, a need elsewhere. I feel like I'm good enough, so I'm going to transfer into that program. And it used to be I'm going to wait a year and then I'm going to get my start or my chance to start, where now the transfer portal, without having to wait a year, you can go from any school, whether it's Ohio State to LSU or San Diego State to elsewhere, or somebody transferring into San Diego State from elsewhere, and you get to start right away.
By the way, I thought this was going to be so different from what it actually is. Back when all this first started, and we heard about the transfer portal and not having to sit out a year for the first time, I thought it wasn't going to really impact football that much at all. And I was so wrong. I thought the main impact was going to be in college basketball, because the number 2 point guard at the number 1 school in the country is still pretty damn good and can probably be a starter everywhere else in the country and just fit in. And basketball is easier to do that with. Football, I figured it's such a system game and it's such a learned system in one place. And Rich, you've talked about it before, how every offense is its own language, that it would be really tough for a quarterback to go in the transfer portal, go to a new team and have an impact right away. But it's been the complete opposite. All 3 of the quarterbacks listed in the Heisman are either playing their first or second year with a new program.
Rich, why would that be? Why? I mean, what is it? Is it it's a new scheme, a new system that it's fresh, and they're all of a sudden they're playing outside of their game, they're elevating their game? Or, I mean, is this just opponents now, are they not used to this quarterback? I wouldn't see that as being such a thing in the college level, more in the NFL level. But I mean, what would cause that, in your opinion, as a former professional athlete?
Impatience and pressure. So the reason why is because fan bases are impatient now, and head coaches are under an extreme amount of pressure to win immediately. And where it used to be, you would transfer a quarterback in, or there would be a new head coach, and people would say, okay, well, now we have to wait until their system starts to take hold and they build their culture. And it could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, sometimes 3 years. And then we're going to reap the benefits of this new coach or this new quarterback coming to this system. No, that's not how it goes anymore. People are now used to this instant gratification of, if you bring in a talented player, you need to amend your system to suit the talents of that player. It does not matter how much time you've been there. It does not matter if you've just started on the job. The results need to come fast. Otherwise, they'll move off of you. I mean, look at the NFL. I mean, this is happening at the professional football level. Frank Reich worked 11 games and got canned.
Right.
I mean, the Carolina Panthers would rather pay the rest of a 4-year contract than to have another game coached by Frank Reich. Think about that.
While they're already paying a long-term contract to a different coach who's no longer coaching with them, Matt Rule.
Yeah.
It's wild. I also think football, TD, is becoming a little more universal in terms of the language they use on offense, like from the high school level to the college level. We're seeing it now with the Aztecs. Like, Sean Lewis is coming in. He's going to implement this spread-out offense. Well, that's what guys are used to playing in high school. So I think the barrier for entry for quarterbacks going from one school to a different school is a little bit easier because they're running a more similar style of offense now.
It's not the language, but it is the style. You're 100% correct. The language is still a learning curve, and every program has the different terminology that they use, which is what we talk about when we talk about language, learning that different language. But yeah, there are a lot of places where it used to be you would have a completely different looking offensive system from place to place, where it would be really confusing to go from, say, a spread offense into a more pro style or a former pro style offense with a fullback and 2 tight ends on the field. And holy smokes, like, you're doing things completely differently as a quarterback. But now where everybody seems to be instituting more of a spread look, just the look and the style of the offenses all resemble each other more. So that part of it is more recognition, where you're like, oh yeah, we're just running inside zone to the weak side. We called it this in the system I came from. Now we're calling it this here. So you're running the same play. You're just calling it something different. So the language you still have to learn. But it used to be, not only did you have to learn the language, you used to have to learn a completely different style of offense, and that's changed a lot.
But doesn't that change the longevity of a player on a team? I mean, if now all of a sudden, if you're just more of a piece, a cog in the machine, you're easily replaced.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, if you're not performing up to the level, all of a sudden they can switch you out real quick.
TD, to that point, when I was playing in college football, I graduated high school in 2004. All right. My final season was 2008. And we played in my last college football game was the Rose Bowl in 2009 against USC. During that entire time, my scholarship was honored by the Nittany Lions, and it almost didn't matter what happened, right? Good grades, bad grades, as long as I was eligible. In trouble, but not bad enough trouble, they're going to keep it because they want to prove to all the athletes that they're recruiting out of high school, they stay loyal to their players.
Right.
And similarly, back then, and we're talking about years and years ago now, the players were loyal to the programs too. Like, it took a lot to transfer then.
Yeah.
And it doesn't anymore. So you're absolutely right. All these players are very replaceable. And frankly, so are the coaches.
And now we're here, guys. So I think officially now, with the Heisman candidacy being what it is, we could say that the transfer portal is here. It's here to stay. And I'll ask both of you, and I'll ask this question without knowing the answer myself: good or bad for college football?
Dude, for college football, bad. For the players, good. So I'm torn over this whole, this really is a dilemma. I want players to make money in college football because I'm tired of seeing conferences and universities and executives and networks make all the money off of what's basically free work. I mean, it is. It's labor. You work a full-time job as a college football player. As a college basketball player, you work a full-time job. And so same for other college athletes as well. They're subsidized, though, by the profit generated by the college basketball and mainly the college football team on campus. But those players who are generating all those profits have received none of that money since the dawn of time. Well, now that's switched, and I love it. However, what it's doing to the product of college football, there are cons. There are some real negatives here, and we're starting to see that.
Yeah, and I think that that where a hang-up lies with NIL money is the general public looking at college sports in general are not overly enthused at the fact that that people are thinking, oh, well, here are these 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids who are making millions of dollars. They're supposed to be going to school. And I think that's the hang-up, where it's not looked at as a full-time job. So it's hard to get that perspective of it. That's probably why there's some general pushback from the public. But I think you're right, Rich. This is good for the players. For college sports in general, probably not as great.
Well, we don't know where the landscape's going to be in a couple years. Like my cousin just got a full ride scholarship to UCLA to be part of the crew team, and it's awesome for her. But what is crew going to be in 3 years? We honestly don't know. We don't know if it exists.
Yeah, there are going to be programs for sure, and entire athletic departments in certain cases that fall by the wayside of more spending coming in for the players of these profit-generating sports, as opposed to being spent on the athletic department overall, where that money could be more evenly dispersed to some of the other programs. But again, going back to what we were talking about in the first place, like if the players are working and they're working full-time jobs and it's extremely profitable, how different is a college football player from, I don't know, a budding lawyer in the field of law
working a 60-hour internship?
Right. You know, and I mean, obviously the better interns will be paid. And I'm sure there are some firms that, you know, have unpaid interns and they're not as good. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. Is like, you're going to have better programs, law firms, paying their players more, their interns. Yeah, I mean, that's just.
By the way, I worked a radio
semi-professional.
internship. Yeah. I worked a radio internship in college. Guess how much money I got paid?
What'd you get paid?
Zero.
Yeah.
$0.
I did a radio internship as well for 2 years.
Were you guys any good?
I thought so. Dude,
listen.
Of course, Ben goes.
Yeah.
No.
Think that I learned how to spin the wheel by myself?
I had a moment at my internship that I still think about to this day where I just froze and the mic went quiet for about a minute.
Oh, man.
And it was bad.
Wow.
Luckily, it was in San Luis Obispo. Nobody listened. But anyways, moving on. I think this is bad for college football. I really do. I think that this leads to a point where college football is the only sport left. And by the way, it's not even at every school. I have a feeling that the days of the super conference, I feel like, are already here. And at some point, Division II, Division III college football is just going to become club football, where guys are going to have to put up their own money to keep a team alive.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Look, I think college football is too established for college football to really take the hit. So I agree with you. I think college football is going to exist regardless. Too many networks, too many people, too many livelihoods rely on college football. So that's not going anywhere.
Division I, yes. Who's included in Division I? I don't know the answer to that. And Division II, Division III football, I don't know the answer to that. Does that stay alive? I don't think so.
Well, what's interesting about all that is that stays alive without really any of the funding we're talking about. So I do think that athletics, I think the threat that athletics are going to be largely affected by this is, it's not a false threat. I do think that certain programs and certain athletic departments are going to struggle, but I do feel that college football, even if it's separated somehow from the rest of college sports, it's in a different box altogether. I think they're going to find a way to still subsidize other programs with money made from college football or basketball, for that matter, at certain schools. And you're not going to see as big of an effect, but it will have reverberations for years. What I also think is there are going to be guardrails put on this thing. Anything that gets too big is regulated. Yeah. Everything that's big gets regulated.
Now, you said
too much money.
You didn't make any NIL money, but that's not true. NCAA football cut you a check, didn't they?
Well, that's not, well, yes.
For like $50
for I think I was given $400
for the video game, right?
Yeah.
So now the video game's coming back. People are very excited about that, especially because the last few years of Madden have gotten pretty terrible reviews. NCAA football coming back has people very excited.
I thought you were going to say you were in the new Grand Theft Auto.
I'm in GTA 6.
That's going to be awesome.
Have you guys seen the leak trailer?
No, I haven't seen it.
I mean, I think it was leaked by them.
It was purposefully leaked.
Yeah. I mean,
EA was like, games or whatever,
it was like
or Rockstar.
Dude, it looks amazing.
I mean, it's on like the Rockstar website. I don't know how leaked it is.
It's because some Rockstar employee, so they say, went and put it out.
Was paid to post it online.
It was totally a purposeful leak.
Yeah.
It just gets more traction when it says leaked.
Look, I'm all about it. I'm all in. And then at the end of it, they're like, coming 2025. I'm like, what? talk to me in 2 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
End of 2024, I think, was what I saw. But still,
Gets
Yeah.
people fired up for like their Christmas shopping, and they're like, okay, not this Christmas, but maybe
dude,
next year on pre-sale.
GTA 5 came out in 2013.
That's crazy.
Like that was 10 years ago already.
right. But I mean, like also GTA 1 through 5 came out in a much smaller time frame. So this is just like it's like a redone. It would be like I don't know, coming out with a new Sonic the Hedgehog. Got cut off on that one.
Yeah, you did.
Got cut off.
That's enough of you.
Well, Monday Night Football last night, the Bengals beat the Jags 34-31 in overtime. Got a little worried that this thing was going to end in a tie after a very hot and heated first half. It kind of slowed down the second half, but it was still a great game. But then we get into overtime, and I went, oh, God, if this ends in a tie, this is going to be the biggest letdown ever. But Evan McPherson nails a 54-yarder with under 2 minutes left to become the new hero of Cincy, or as the locals are calling him, the Fatty Boom Batty out in the natty, taking the win.
Are they actually calling him that?
No, but that'd be cool, right?
That would be awesome.
Conspiracy theory. Write that down for
Right.
TikTok.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He exited the game with a ankle injury in the fourth quarter. We'll get an update on his ankle with Dr. David Chow later in the 8 o'clock hour. New ESPN power rankings are out today, boys, and the San Francisco 49ers have taken the top spot after a decisive victory over the Eagles on Sunday. The Chiefs, by the way, fall all the way down to number 7. Yikes. In college hoop, the Aztecs take on Grand Canyon University tonight, 6 p.m. Pregame gets started at 5:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. And in baseball, a new team emerges as a possible landing spot for Shohei Ohtani.
Is it the Blue Jays?
It's the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays,
What
yeah.
the hell?
So apparently,
Blue Jays.
Shohei Ohtani was at the Blue Jays official headquarters yesterday
Mhm,
having a meeting.
Mhm.
And the reports are, at least from Ken Rosenthal, that they now should be considered serious suitors.
Why would he want to go to the Blue Jays?
They got young talent, man. I mean, I could see it being a possibility. Do I think that's where he ends up? Probably not. But I would way rather have him with the Blue Jays than with the stupid Dodgers.
No. I'm with you all day long. I mean, 100% there. I just can't imagine if I'm Shohei, I'm looking at the Blue Jays as my possible landing spot.
Now, if they offer you $650 million, are you?
But I mean, okay. So if they offer 650 and another team that maybe has a little more brand recognition, and we'll use the Dodgers, for instance, here, offer me $600 million, is the $50 million worth no titles?
California taxes, California healthcare. Canada has free healthcare.
Wow, he could still live in Canada.
Yeah, this can be an interesting landing spot. I feel like it could be one of those situations where we go, how did Shohei Ohtani end up with the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, it would be the Trout feeling here. Of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
If he
well,
goes
he's
to
a
the Blue
fantastic
Jays-
player.
If he goes to the Blue Jays, by the way, we never talk about him again.
Well,
Well, we're going to talk about some highlights.
international superstar, I mean, and by the way, it's not like the Angels were doing much of anything with Shohei Ohtani either.
Yeah.
So those highlights will get run. All right, do you guys want to play a little game we like to call Wheel of Football? The answer is yes. Spin it, TD. Ooh, I like this. Okay, we have several topics up on the wheel, and the first one is, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence injures his ankle last night. Will the Jaguars make the postseason? Right now, they're leading their division. So, Ben, or TD, let's go to you first.
Yeah, I think yes. I think they still make the postseason, mostly because they have some easier games towards the end of the season. So even if they lose the next 2, if they can win 3 out of the next 5, I feel like they're locked in. I'm trying to find the standings here in front of me.
So it goes
how far? Oh, they're only ahead by a game.
of the Colts.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, all of a sudden, the Colts are putting together a hell of a season behind Gardner Minshew.
I mean,
The Texans are in their division. That is a tough division. And down the stretch, man, I got a lot of faith in CJ Stroud. And shoot me because I'm crazy. I have a lot of faith in Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
I
Fletch,
still think they make it.
So-
I'm going to say they make the playoffs. They do not win the AFC South.
All right. Here's what I say. I say they will also make it, but they won't win the AFC South. They will not be division leaders at the end of the season, but they'll sneak into the postseason.
But is that an early exit if they have to play their first game in the postseason on the road?
Very possible. Let's spin that wheel. All right, give it a whip, TD. There it goes.
Ooh.
All right.
Come on.
What
Come
do
on.
you got?
That's pro spin.
What
That's
do
a
you
pro
got?
spin.
Okay, report.
All right, let me see. What does that say here? Jets are looking to switch back to Zach Wilson. What?
Did you see the secondary report, though, guys?
Okay, so he's reluctant.
Says the media. Diana Rossini had that report. Robert Saleh, of course, refuted it. What else is he going to say? But if Zach Wilson is reluctant to take back the starting quarterback job, have you ever once heard of an NFL player reluctant to play in the NFL?
No.
Something's off here. Either something's off with Zach or something's off with the reporting. But yeah, this is a shocking revelation if it's true. I've never once heard of a player not wanting to start.
He's broken. He's broken.
If it's true, we don't know. I mean,
The Jets do have a habit of breaking quarterbacks.
yeah. All right, let's see. The wheel knows all, and it lands on Shaq Leonard, signed by the Eagles. All right, so does this cure what ails them after getting absolutely romped by the 49ers? Let's go to Fletch first, because I know he watched every snap of that 49ers beatdown of the Eagles.
I mean, this couldn't hurt. They need help at the linebacker position. That's where they were getting torched over the middle in the passing game. Lots of Debo Samuel shallow routes. And then, by the way, when they tried to jump up to defend the shallow route, they got torched deep. So the Eagles do need help on the defensive side of the football. I just don't have the same feeling I had about them last year, which I was really scared of the Eagles last season. I'm not really scared of the Eagles right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think this does help on the defensive side of things. I don't know if it does enough to help them win these kind of games because they need the offense to score points. So they need Jalen Hurts to be Jalen Hurts. They don't seem as threatening as last year because I don't feel like Jalen Hurts is going to break out and find a way to score on me. So they're missing that X factor.
TD, to that point, everybody's talking about how the defense got roasted. The offense scored very few points. Was it 6? Is that all they mustered? 9?
No,
they were in single digits.
No, it was 42-19, wasn't
Was
it?
it 19? Okay. Yeah. But I mean, you got boat race there. You got to muster more than that, even against one of the more elite defenses in the NFL. Spin that wheel, big boy. Let's do it. Shouldn't say big boy. I mean, he's lost quite a lot of weight.
Big boy.
All right, it's the final one. So name a team outside of the playoffs right now that will win a playoff game. So I'll give you the list of the top 4 or 5 teams here that are outside on the bubble. Rams, Seahawks, Bills, Broncos, Texans, Bucks. Any of those 6 teams scream at you guys they're going to win a playoff game this year?
I got to go Texans on this. I feel like that's the easy layup to say, but it sure feels like the Texans are the hot team, and the Texans are going to move into this playoff race, and the Texans may make a little bit of noise.
I'm going to take the LA Rams, and here's why. Matthew Stafford is a proven Super Bowl winning quarterback who's elite. Sean McVay is a proven Super Bowl winning head coach that's elite. If they get healthy and lucky down the stretch of this season in terms of health, I think that this is a team that could shock a lot of people.
Boys, see what I'm doing over here?
What are you doing?
Flipping burgers.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I'm cooking. You know who else is going to cook? Russell Wilson.
Russ can't cook.
Denver Broncos win a postseason game this year. Mark it.
Wow, mark it. And there it is, everybody. The Wheel of Football. Woo! That's right. We did it. You talk about being healthy out there on the field, Rich. I'm talking about being healthy right here in the studio with SDFatLoss.com. They have helped us figure out how to get healthy because we were fatty boom baddies out in the natty, which we've trimmed down a lot. I mean, 30 pounds in 8 weeks. I don't know what other kind of testimonial you could give that you could look at a company and go, oh, wow, that really does work. Because tried the fad diets. I've tried counting the calories. I've tried counting up the points. I've tried eating the prepackaged meals and the gross granola bars. And look, none of it works. I mean, I could lose some weight, but I'd never keep it off and gain it right back. That's not the case with SDFatLoss.com because they will show you the healthy way to eat make it a lifestyle. And it's great because as you're heading into the holidays and going, oh man, I want to enjoy all the great holiday fixins. Well, you don't have to miss out on that because SDFatLoss.com will show you how to navigate through the holidays so you can get a jump on those New Year's resolutions. And right now, SD Fat Loss is offering $200 off with a holiday special happening now through December 31st. You can lock in the savings now. You can start the program right now, or you can start it first thing in January if you're like, hey, I'm waiting for the New Year's resolution. It's SDFatLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation today, SDFatLoss.com.
Love it. Love it. Coming up next, we have a Soto update for everyone on the other side.
We got a little bit of an update with Juan Soto. We'll give it to you next.
This update is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. We will begin with Monday Night Football. Bengals upset the Jags last night 34-31 in overtime in Jacksonville. Jaguars were 10-point favorites coming into the game. College hoops, Aztecs back in the AP Top 25 at number 25. They got Grand Canyon tonight on the road. Tough home environment as they go to Grand Canyon, one of the better ones in the country. Game tips off at 6 o'clock tonight. Pregame coverage gets going at 5:30. Heisman Trophy finalists have been announced in college football. Jaden Daniels from LSU, Oregon's Bo Nix, Washington's Michael Penix Jr., and Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. round out the Final Four. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Big Rich TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Still have those 2 giveaways here. A pair of tickets to go see Depeche Mode, Pechanga Arena. It's happening Wednesday night. So if you want to win, you got to make sure tomorrow night is open and available to you because that's when the concert is and you can't buy any more tickets. So we have the last 2 pairs. We're giving away 1 today. So you got to keep listening to get those. And then also a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration, where the wonders of the sea meet the joy of Christmas at SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration, happening now through January 7th at SeaWorld San Diego.
So it was brought up on the text line yesterday. Listener asked the question, what's the status of the Pocky One Chip Challenge? I have crunched the numbers. We will get to that coming up at 7:45 this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it is a tight race, boys. Like, we are all pretty dead even.
That worries me.
With about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are going to decide the finale.
Okay.
Don't tip off anything.
Yep.
We'll get into like who's leading, who's falling behind in about 10 minutes on that, because I know there's a lot of people who are anxiously awaiting to see one of the 3 of us
suffer,
choke down the Pocky One Chip Challenge that actually killed a human being, and they took it off the
They
shelves.
pulled from the shelf. So we have contraband here.
We do. And we plan on using it live on air. And whatever happens. We'll let Jesus take the wheel.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Big report out of New York. Look, here's the way it's going to go. Soto's going to be traded. It's just a matter of time and to whom. But the rumors are it's going to be the New York Yankees, and it's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah.
So when he came to the Padres from the Nats, I mean, the Padres unloaded for Juan Soto. I mean, top prospects everywhere you look were being unearthed and sent to the farm systems out there with the Nationals. And a couple of those players actually played for the Nats this year. And also starting pitching that was currently performing at the major league level for the Padres. So you had both major leaguers and prospects sent to Washington.
And Mackenzie Gore was part of that. You could probably use him this year.
Could probably use Mackenzie Gore.
But right. That's in the past, so we're not going to dwell on that too much.
Fine.
However, I will say within the last
still dwelling.
week or so, since some stuff was leaked from New York, some stuff was leaked by major reporters. We don't know if any of it's true, any of it's false, but it kind of seems like at least there's a window for the Padres to hold on to Juan Soto for next season. I don't think that's going to happen with my brain, but my heart's telling me it could, and that actually has me a little excited, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But what the Padres need to do, obviously, is unload some of this payroll because they'll need to bring in a boatload of starting pitching unless you want to rely on people who are in the minor leagues this last year from you to take up 3 of 5 rotation spots, assuming Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove are healthy coming into next year, which is a question mark. So your heart tells you want Soto, but your brain tells you they need to get rid of Soto. It's all going to matter on what the Yankees or whoever's willing to send back. And right now, it just doesn't seem like the Padres and the Yankees are seeing eye to eye at all.
Yeah, I don't think the Padres want to fall onto another trade deadline issue like they did last season. So they're looking at Soto going, if we can unload him now, and we can get the best possible outcome for Juan Soto, now we're going to do it. There was reports that it was yesterday that the Yankees were looking to make a blockbuster move. So it may be today that we hear something. But I mean, I would imagine Juan Soto is no longer a Padre, but I don't disagree. I think there's a small chance, a small window, but I mean, it's small.
Was this yesterday or Sunday? Sunday, I was talking to somebody who's at winter meetings, a pretty high-level reporter, and I was talking about the Padres, and we were just, chatting, honestly, just catching up. We're buddies. But one of the things he passed along to me is it is very obvious what the Padres' intentions are in Nashville. It's to unload Soto. And so that's the effort here. Now, we've heard from a lot of different local reporters. Kevin Acey, San Diego Union Tribune, obviously covers the beat for the Padres, and he's our San Diego Sports 760 insider. We've heard from Dennis Lynn of The Athletic. Well, how about Brendan Cootie, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, of The Athletic. This is the way he describes the situation with the Padres in New York. Stalemate, standstill, impasse, whatever you want to call it. Awkward space occupied by trade talks between the New York Yankees and San Diego Padres for superstar left fielder Juan Soto. Just don't call them finished. So obviously there's some meat on the bone left to chew on between these two sides.
Well, it sounded like the Yankees were saying certain people were untouchable and certain people were like relievers. I think his name's Michael King, I believe is his name, out of New York, who the Padres wanted to be a part of the package, and the Yankees were like, no, you can't have him. And it's Juan Soto, dude. It's a generational talent. Anyone should be available.
Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic is saying part of the holdup on the deal is the Padres want Trent Grisham attached to Soto in the trade. And the Yankees don't want Grisham.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, the way negotiations work, and anybody who's ever negotiated anything, whether it's a car purchase or it is some sort of contract with an employer, or it's a contract with somebody who's doing work around your house, the best negotiations are when both sides feel unhappy about the way negotiations went. It means that also both sides got some of the things they wanted. It's a give and take. So if you're going to take Soto, you need to take Grisham with him. What can you give us, or what can we receive on the other end of that makes us feel good about our side of the deal, but also bad because we feel we got hosed?
Yeah.
Both sides are going to walk away feeling like they got hosed.
There's a great line from the TV show Stranger Things, which is where I get most of my cultural and moral compass ideas from. But Stranger Things, the line is halfway happy. And I feel like that's what always will end up happening in any sort of MLB trade deadline or off-season trade.
That's if it's a good deal, because both sides should be halfway happy. If it's a bad deal and one side's very happy and the other side's not, then somebody screwed up.
Let me tell you something about the Yankees, though, and this is from growing up in Long Island, New York, surrounded by a bunch of Yankee fans my whole entire life. When it comes to the Yankees, fans want splashy trades. Right. Now, they're very educated. I mean, they care about their team, and they obviously know about Michael King and all that stuff. But I promise you, if Brian Cashman allows somebody who's youthful and upstart and not nearly at the level of a Juan Soto right now get in the way of a trade occurring, and then they have a bad season like they did last year, Cashman's already kind of on the hot seat like AJ Preller. It's going to be a huge problem for the fan base.
Well, and that's just it, Rich. I mean, you grew up in the area. You know these Yankee fans. They will not settle for another disaster of a season. So, I mean, it'll be pitchforks out there.
Both sides have this same problem, TD. Like when you look at AJ Preller and the Padres fan base, like everybody realizes the common denominator right now is AJ Preller. Well, the same thing for Yankees fans. They're looking at Brian Cashman and saying, we have the biggest payroll for all these years. Where are our rings? Where are our championships? This is the New York freaking Yankees. And Padres fans feel similarly about the weight with AJ Preller.
Well, and I think that there's also some cautious intrepidation here, that people are worried about what's going to happen, because now that Seidler's not there, we don't know really what the vision is going forward, because we were promised a decade of Padre winning baseball, and all of a sudden now it feels like we're going to contract a little bit, and it's not going to be that.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, winter meetings will be wrapping up soon in Nashville, and we may or may not have answers, but the phone lines will not go dead. I guarantee AJ Preller will continue working on sending off Soto somewhere else. Okay. Coming up next, we're going to get into the Pocky One Chip Challenge. We have a season-long NFL bet that Ben has worked on the numbers all night long, deep into the hours of the morning, and he's going to have.
We have an awesome tweet from head coach of the Aztecs, Sean Lewis, also, that we'll read you on the other side.
We'll get to that next. But first, I want to talk to you about Toyota. So I own a 4Runner. We're working on getting my wife a brand new car from Toyota, and the reason why is because we've become a Toyota family. Their vehicles, their fleet, their entire lineup, from trucks to SUVs to cars to electric cars or SUVs, are incredible. I've just been so impressed with some of the things that I've learned about Toyota over the years of driving one, but also shopping for my next Toyota. They just keep innovating. They keep finding ways to impress you, whether it's, some of the things under the hood or the interior, the updates to the entertainment system. Everything's integrated, and that's super important to the consumer these days. New vehicles arriving daily at your San Diego County Toyota dealers, and they're all available now, including the most popular cars, trucks, SUVs. So whatever kind of vehicle you're looking for, you got to hurry into a San Diego County Toyota dealer today. And remember, it's the holiday season, right? They're going to be great deals, year-end deals at your San Diego County Toyota dealers, opportunities there to save money. Also, wouldn't it be nice to surprise somebody with a present? A little Christmas or Hanukkah present, waiting in the driveway with one of those giant bows you see in the commercials. If you're waiting, don't wait. If you're looking for a great deal on a Toyota, make sure you visit your San Diego County Toyota dealers today, or go to toyota.com. There you can check out all the latest options and compare models and search inventory, finding the Toyota that's just right for you or the special someone in your life. Head to toyota.com. We make it easy.
Champ here. When I'm in San Diego, I'm always hanging out at San Diego Sports 760. With who? Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Whammy!
San Diego Sports 760, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Champ Kind here.
That was a good day.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
a good day.
Meeting David Keckner was one of those checked boxes on the old bucket list.
Right.
They say
Right.
don't meet your heroes. No regrets.
Dude, he
No.
was great.
No,
He was great.
no regrets.
He's a big sports fan too, so he hung around for a while after we finished our interview with him, and we were just chatting. He's a great guy, and it's true. Don't meet your heroes normally is probably, but with him it was great.
It worked out.
Really
it worked
did.
out.
So
So we had a little challenge that Fletch decided was just going to be hoisted upon us here.
No,
forced
I
upon
decided that you should just eat the chip the day I bought
us.
it.
You did decide
Rich
that.
decided to make this a season-long, drawn-out thing.
Well, because he was trying to, I think, save my life.
well, I was worried about TD walking into this challenge without thinking about it or preparing in any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form.
we didn't have anything set. I didn't have any milk ready to go or whatever I needed to do to try to save my life here in this.
And his mentality was all wrong.
Yeah.
Like I looked at him and I saw fear in his eyes. Like it wasn't
still there.
nervous anticipation. It was fear.
Listen, I don't do spicy real well. Okay.
So
you nailed the ramen we did the other day. You handled it fine.
actually, you handled that better than I handled it.
The ramen wasn't that spicy.
I had a hard. Maybe I got like the bottom of the pour because I felt like I even like drank the bottom of it and like all of the spice went down the gullet. I was like,
Yeah. It did give me a weird, like almost numbing, quivery sensation in the back of my mouth,
you know what?
which I could not figure out.
That has more than one use. Anyways, I wanted you guys about.
So what we
I'm
did
here
was
for the team.
we looked at the preseason odds and we used the Vegas Insider consensus odds. So it was they took all the different sports books and put them together, and these were the average numbers of every team's win total for the season. We picked every single one of them. So we went over under on all the different win totals, and I have the list of the ones that we differed on in front of me now. I went through and crunched the numbers. It's going to end up being 5 teams that make the difference.
Yeah.
So the 5 teams that make the difference are the Vikings, who are projected to get 8.5 wins. They're 6-6 on the year. The Falcons, who were projected to get 8.5 wins. They're 6-6 on the year. I would say the Seahawks, same thing, 8.5 projected. They're 6-6 so far. Steelers, who were projected to get 9 wins. They're 7-5. Broncos, who were projected to get 8.5, they're 6-6. So the way this all breaks out, in order for you not to eat the chip, I need the Falcons to get over 8.5 wins. Travis needs the Seahawks to get over 8.5 wins. Rich needs something else to happen because Rich, you have either the same
Oh, come on.
as all of us on all those picks, either me or Travis. So
Okay.
the way it breaks out right now, if the season ended today and the rest of the teams who I didn't mention in those 5 stand true to what they've been doing so far this
Yeah.
season, I would have 7, Rich would have 6, TD would have 6. Now those remaining 5 teams are where the question marks pop up, but Rich is either sided with me or TD on all of them, so Rich would be the last person.
What the
Wow.
shit? Are you kidding me? Oh, sorry.
Twice?
Was that twice today?
Yes.
That
No,
was
that's
maybe-
twice in 2 words.
That's maybe the most blatant one we've ever done.
YouTube, you're welcome.
I got lost. Okay, I got lost in the moment.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
So
Don't
we-
cuss again.
Well, I won't. We had to hit
Oh,
the dump
God.
button. We had to hit the dump button.
I'm looking at the Steelers.
So
or
the
not
the
Steelers.
10-second delay missed out. So Rich right now is in last place. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
All right.
And then
so,
Rich cussed.
darn it.
so I need the Seahawks to get 3 more wins,
Yes.
and you need the Falcons to get 3 more wins.
Yes, and I think
What
Rich
if-
might be screwed either way.
Okay, I was going to say, if neither of those occur, because looking at the Seahawks schedule, they've got the Niners, the Eagles, the Titans, the Steelers, the Cardinals. So
You guys realize-
there's maybe 2 wins
Now,
there.
hang on, Rich. Here's
Yeah.
your hope. So
Okay.
those are the 5 teams that are most likely going to be the influencers.
Yeah.
But there's other teams that could either completely fall apart or completely go on a tear.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you could have a late season rise by team, or one of these teams that is really consequential for one of the two of you could completely fall from
now,
grace.
I have one circled here that you're going to be kicking yourself about, Richie. Do you know which team I'm talking about?
I'm sure it's the Jets.
It is the Panthers.
Right, yeah.
Who
What
you
did I
took
say?
the over on the Panthers to win over 7.5 games.
What? You guys, wait, hang on a second. Did you guys drug me?
What?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Don't worry, there's one for me too.
What did you
Yeah.
take?
I took the under on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, we warned you. We warned you several times. I do remember that one. I don't remember taking the over on the Carolina. Could you? Okay, look, TD, you're behind glass, Fletch. TD, in the future, if I ever say something insane like that, just slap the taste out of my
like
mouth.
dropping 2 S-bombs within 30 seconds.
Right. Well, there is that as well.
There's that.
I am mortified.
It looks like, Fletch, you're going to be sitting the prettiest here in this, because if the Falcons are what you need to happen, they've got the Bucks, the Panthers, the Colts, Bears, Saints. I mean, I feel like they've got a good shot there.
Okay,
They got to get 3 wins.
Let me, full disclosure, every season-long bet I've ever done with any radio show, I've lost or come into last place in. Okay, so this has been going on my entire radio career. I will have to, at the end of this year's football season, both drink mayonnaise in a coffee now from one of the weekend shows and eat the spicy one-chip Pocky challenge.
So now, again, lots
Yeah,
of things can change here. There are other teams that I didn't list on the consequential ones because it just seems like their season's going one way or the other. But there could be a huge difference. Like if the Packers go crazy and go on a run, then you guys could get +1 point. I could get -1 point. So there's stuff that can still change. Now, what happens at the end of the year? Is it an immediate take the chip as soon as the season's over?
Okay.
No, I feel like there's got to be a little bit of fanfare to this.
Let's have a buffer.
Mental prep.
It may be something that we do for like social media only, like YouTube.
You're going to deprive some of our listeners?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, we got to set it up and make it so like we have multiple camera angles then. Like I want this to live on in posterity, because if it's not me, I'm going to be celebrating like a madman during this.
I do not feel comfortable that it's going to be you. Just as it's going right now, it looks like it will be you.
Thanks for that.
You're
That's
welcome.
good. I feel great.
That doesn't mean it will be.
I do
It's
not.
so close, guys.
Yeah, it's really
it's gonna
knotted
get,
up.
like the difference between the winner and the loser is gonna be 1 game.
Oh, God.
I do not feel comfortable it could possibly be me.
You think
You're sitting the prettiest right now, TD.
I don't think I am.
No, because you and Rich have the most in common, and he's already behind you.
Jesus.
I think it's gonna be
that. I like that.
It's
more.
gonna be either Rich or me.
I'm already starting to sweat. Okay, so I'm going to change directions and talk about something that makes me happy. And by the way, on the other side, we're going to be doing 4 corners, the best stories from around the map, and also joined by Dr. David Chow, give you some NFL updates on injuries, including Trevor Lawrence. How soon will he be back on the field for the Jaguars? But first, I want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I love the Underdog Fantasy app. I play this all the time. Sign up with promo code XTRA, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100 plus a special mystery pick in your Pick'em lobby. What's the Pick'em lobby? So glad you asked. So right now, you got the NBA season off to the races. You got this in-season tournament going. We're in the quarterfinals now. We got the semifinals in Vegas coming up on Thursday. You can use the Underdog Fantasy app to follow all of the action. And with the Pick'em game, you pick up to 5 players. You can win 20 times your money in a single win. All right. So it's fantasy, but you're winning real money, completely legal in California, and a ton of fun to play. I've been doing this all NFL season long. I'm getting into it on the NBA side. You should too. So again, when you sign up and you go to their easy to use mobile app, sign up with promo code XTRA. Underdog Fantasy will double your first deposit up to $100 plus. New customers get a special mystery pick in their Pick'em lobby. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code XTRA. First deposit of $10 or more doubled up to $100 plus the special pick in your Pick'em lobby. Must be 18 plus, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. We will begin here in the NFL, where there was an upset on Monday Night Football as the Bengals upset the Jags last night 34-31 in overtime. Jake Browning, who knew he'd be the star? College hoops, Aztecs back in the AP Top 25. They're taking on Grand Canyon tonight on the road. It's a tough home court advantage. The Grand Canyon has one of the better environments in the country. The game will tip off at 6 tonight. Pre-game coverage gets going at 5:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Heisman Trophy finalists have been announced. We got 4 of them. LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, Washington's Michael Penix Jr., and Ohio State receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Staples Holiday Deals means holiday savings on hot tech like laptop, game system, earbuds, and more. Right now, save up to $350 on select PCs. In-store only. Offer ends 12/23. See an associate for details. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We are well caffeinated and thrilled to bring you the final hour of our show today. Woo! And it's a big final hour. We have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld. Go celebrate the holidays at SeaWorld San Diego. Now through January 7th, all the festivities there. We have a 4-pack so you can bring the whole family. Just keep listening to our show. Also, only here on San Diego Sports 760 will you be able to win Depeche Mode tickets. We have a pair today. We have a pair tomorrow. And then that's it because they're playing tomorrow night at Pechanga Arena. So if you want to go to Depeche Mode, you got to be listening here.
Completely sold out also. You can't buy these tickets.
Nope. And they're only available here.
Boys, before we get really into this third hour, I want to let you know there are new MVP odds out as of right now. 2 new names at the top. Any guesses?
It's got to be... Who had a really good
There are 2
week?
quarterbacks, and they're tied at the top, both of them NFC.
Both of them
NFC. I was going to say Tua. Both NFC? Oh, hold on. You're bringing it up. Brock Purdy's got to be
He's
one.
one of them.
Brock
In
Purdy.
the NFC, another?
Who else scored a bunch of points?
I don't know.
I was about to say Geno Smith. Who did Geno Smith get beat by? Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, currently your co-favorites to win the NFL MVP this year.
Well,
I can't believe Tyreek Hill is not at the top, quite frankly.
So,
Well,
wow,
not
Brock Purdy.
a QB. Yeah, I would say Tua, Tyreek.
Tyreek's about to break the record. He's going to go over 2,000 yards this year.
What are the rest of the MVP odds looking like?
Patrick Mahomes is still up there. He's dropping, though, rapidly.
Yeah.
Tua's way up there. Tyreek Hill is up there. Christian McCaffrey's up there.
Yeah, I just clicked on Vegas Insider. Brock Purdy plus 350. Dak Prescott right behind him plus 300.
Huh.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
He's right behind the 2 of them. Actually,
Man, are you feeling like Jalen Hurts is having an MVP season?
you know what? The thing about it is he's a winner, and these awards are narrative driven. And also it's a popularity contest. You have to remember that. Like, it's not just going to go to the best quarterback in the league. It's also going to go to the best quarterback on the best team in the league. So that's the reason why Patrick Mahomes is up there on the board at 4th place, plus 650 at BetMGM. You look at Tua Tagovailoa plus 800. So there's good value there on Tua still if you believe he's going to have an awesome finish to the season.
I like that Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud, who is sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place at the moment, don't even have a photo up. They're like, ow,
Yeah.
we
How about
weren't
Josh
expecting that.
Josh Allen's still at 9.
Well, that's where the popularity contest comes into play.
The narrative, right? So the narrative on Josh Allen is he's just been so bad this season. And don't get me wrong, he's made mistakes and he's played the Bills out of certain games, but Josh Allen is the only reason why the Bills even have a heartbeat this season. And also remember their record. They're 6-6 right now. That's the reason why Trevor Lawrence is behind him.
By the way, Bill's another team that are killing you in the Pocky One Chip Challenge.
You know what? I hate Josh Allen.
TD and I both took the under on the Bills at 10.5. You took the over. They're 6-6.
He's having the worst season.
Andy Dalton,
Changed
by
my
the
mind.
way. Andy Dalton plus
Okay.
50,000. Should we put some money on that?
Just
Is
a
it
little
Aaron
scratch.
Rodgers is still sneaky high on the list.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers is not as low as he should be. Let's see, where does he land?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago when he announced that he was going to make his return, he was like up in near the mid, but now he's dropped way out.
Okay, yeah, he's way out. Actually, Zach Wilson is ahead of him on this list. So he's way out of it.
Mac Jones plus 30,000.
Which, you know what, let's
Value,
get back
baby.
to that. So we're going to cover the Trevor Lawrence injury from Monday Night Football with Doc David Chow. So we won't get into that right now. We'll get an update from him, what he saw on film and what he thinks the prognosis will be for him. We'll spend some time talking about Cincinnati in a second here, because that was a big win for Jake Browning and the Bengals on the road. Monday Night Football, raucous environment, because Jags fans, they're excited this season. That's still an 8-win football team that's still a division leader. But we'll set that aside for a second to talk about this emerging story with Zach Wilson. So the Diana Rossini report, where she said Zach Wilson is reluctant to take over as the starting quarterback after being benched for Tim Boyle in the last outing for the Jets. So that report could have come from anywhere.
I was just going to say, Rich, let's ask your question. Why is that report coming out?
Mm-hmm.
So where it could have come from is somebody close to Zach Wilson, right? Could have come from an agent who let fly one of the most damning reports I've ever heard of any player. Because I've never, not once in my life, have ever played with somebody who didn't want to start. When you're a backup, all you want to do is see the field. When you're a backup, a lot of times, and I know I've felt this before, and I will not embarrass anybody, you know you're better than some of the starters. And it's really frustrating, and you just know they're getting more of an opportunity because they were drafted higher, or they're being paid more, or the situation occurs where, you know what, they got a shot before you did, and so they're more trusted. It's not fair. It's sports. Sports aren't supposed to be fair all the time, but that's the breaks. Well, with Zach Wilson, to have a report come out like this is anti-competition.
Yeah.
This could ruin his career.
Well, and it should. I mean, you're not being paid to go hang out as a possible backup. You're there to play. Whether or not you are in the backup role or not, you should be ready to play at any moment. And if you're not, then you're just taking up space on the team, buddy.
So where I think this report comes from, and where my brain goes, is somebody on the Jets side let this report come out. I feel like the only way now, Robert Saleh, obviously he's going to deny.
And he did.
And he did. Yeah. He got in front of the media and he said, absolutely no merit to this reporting. Ridiculous.
He said if Zach is, or what he said, if we call on Zach, he's going to be ready to go.
But to me, there is a possibility that there was a conversation that took place between a front office personnel and Zach's agent, or Zach and maybe his QB coach or offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, or Zach and some of the other players who may have, spilled the beans to a coach. And then all of a sudden, if the front office gets wind, or the coaching staff gets wind that they have a player on their team that doesn't want to start if he's called into action, well, if you go public with that, what do you think the reaction is going to be? Well, if Zach Wilson wants a career, if he's asked to start, he better get his ass on that football field.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. And I mean, this, if this is fake, this is horrible. If it's not fake, it's also horrible. I mean, this is literally a waste of time and money in Zach Wilson.
So what's crazy to me, if this came out of the Jets side, you would think the Jets would want to be trying to boost Zach Wilson's value for a trade if they were going to move on from him in this offseason, which I don't know if they will. Who knows? But he does not like he has much value anyways. This tanks any value they would have had.
His mom, though, probably increases the value.
He does have a hot mom. But I do agree with you, Fletch, but right now he's untradeable. Who would trade for Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
The only way he could boost his value if he gets his ass on the field and plays some decent football, even decent football. But he's untradeable as it stands.
You got to have the high mark on your resume right at the top. And currently at the top of his resume, not great marks.
The other reason if the Jets are leaking this out, it's because the GM would be trying to save face a little bit because you wasted a high draft pick on Zach Wilson.
No doubt.
And that's what it is at this point. So the way that you justify wasting a high draft pick on someone is, well, he has something wrong mentally.
Right. You make him the villain of this story. So I really, honestly, always be a why guy or a why gal, right? Always think, why is this happening? And you'll get to the truth. I really honestly feel like if it is a true story, like you said, TD, it's awful. And it's almost unheard of to have a player not want to start. if it isn't true and somebody planted this story to destroy his career or to make themselves look better, that's even worse.
Let's not forget
and if it's the GM, I mean, it's your boss that's doing it.
Well, let's not forget the reputation that the Jets have. Like, Sam Darnold was a high draft pick to the Jets. The Jets are credited with ruining Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson, high draft pick by the Jets. They don't want that narrative to be the one that takes the place over the course of Zach Wilson's career. So they didn't ruin him. He came to them ruined.
So we'll get to four corners on the other side of halftime. Before we get to halftime,
story
I know. We'll talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, who have a backup quarterback who really does want to play and does want to start and just showed off on Monday Night Football. Jake Browning. I mean, that's a hard thing to do. Not only win, but win in a road environment, but win in a prime time road environment against a really talented defense. He hung 34 points on that Jaguars defense. Very few quarterbacks, and they faced some good ones, have been able to do that.
He only missed 5 passes. He went 32 for 37, 354 yards. He had a passing touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. It's his first win as a starter. Come on. You're talking about resume building. Big Snake Jake.
Big Snake Jake is going to get himself paid this offseason, man. And I'm sure his DMs were full last night. Like, you have that opportunity and you come out and show out on primetime, your first primetime start in the NFL, first time you go over 350 yards since back in your college days at Washington, where he was a good quarterback. But he's bounced around. They said it last night on the broadcast. He's been part of like 23 transactions since he's gotten to the NFL level.
My gosh.
Yeah. So this has been such a whirlwind where he didn't know if he would get an opportunity to start or even be a backup somewhere.
I'll tell you, the opportunity is no one is calling him Big Snake Jake
except us.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
far.
So we should probably throw that out there online.
We got the market cornered.
And we swung and missed on Trailer, even though I thought it was a great name. Maybe this one could be ours.
Okay, well, let's do it right now. After Jake Browning's performance on Monday Night Football, he will forever and continue to be Big Snake Jake. 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 Big Snake Jake.
So all the thousands of you who are listening right now, I'm going to put up a tweet right now from @BigRichTD.
You're going to get bit.
And I'm going to put hashtag Big Snake Jake in that tweet.
The fangs are going to hang.
If that's not trending by the end of today, I blame you.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Yep. Big Snake Jake, he's coming to a city near you. Listen.
Thought you were going to go right into halftime with that. I was like, perfect. Oh, we're still going.
We're still going. I will say this as just sort of a capper. I remember as a backup in 2013 getting the nod and having to come into a playoff game and finish the game for an injured Nick Hardwick. Your phone lights up when it's prime time or it's a playoff game and you're all on your own out there helping save a situation for a team in need. I can't tell you, like, there are moments in your life, and everybody's felt it, where you feel like the spotlight's on you for a negative reason and you feel like you're on an island. When things like what happened for Jake Browning happened last night, it's like the world. There's no feeling like it. And it's not even what you're looking to do. All you're looking to do is perform. All you're looking to do is what you did your whole life, what you've worked so hard for. But then the adoration and adulation that comes on the other side of it, it's bonkers. You feel like a hero.
Can he repeat?
That's the tricky part of this. It is a tough league to win in. It's a tough league for starting quarterbacks. It's even tougher for backups.
The tweet is up. Go retweet it. Go comment on it. Go repost it. Send it to all your followers too, and give us a follow @BigRichTD Fletch. First story is where we just led off. It's Monday Night Football last night, boys. I like a California burrito. I really do. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just so you
were right. You were right.
All right, college hoops tonight. Aztecs, they're back in the AP top 25 at number 25. They got Grand Canyon tonight. I did some reading and some research because I'll be doing pregame with John Schaefer a little later tonight, 5:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you look across college basketball, there are very few, if any, home environments and home court advantages better than the one they have at Grand Canyon. This team is extremely good at home. Their fans are insane. It's much like the Marriott Center in Utah where BYU plays. Richie brought that up yesterday, and it is an extremely accurate point. This place will be raucous tonight, especially with the defending Final Four national runner-ups of San Diego State coming into their environment. It's going to be a great one tonight. Make sure you're listening right here on San Diego Sports 760. Heisman Trophy. The finalists have been announced in college football. 3 of the players who have been announced as Final Four candidates for the Heisman Trophy are fifth-year students, and they are transfer students. The new age of college football is here, man, and it is here to stay.
I think it will be a ruckus.
Ruckus?
Raucous.
Ruckus?
Ruckus?
Yes, raucous. RAUCOUS.
You thought I was stupid.
I am stupid. Okay. All right.
A ruckus is that's when you make noise and there's mayhem going on. Ruckus.
But you can consider
okay.
last week on Bar Cart Friday, there was a ruckus in studio.
Okay.
But
I got it.
But the people who came into studio
Get you
were
a second
a ruckus crowd.
Second, I'll get you a third burrito.
We could have so many damn burritos.
Burritos just stacked.
You're gonna have I'm gonna stick burritos in your ears. I'm a sick puppy. All right, coming up, we're gonna be talking to Doc David Chow, give you the full NFL update on injuries around the league. Also, if you want to go to SeaWorld for bring the whole family out there for the holidays, I would suggest you keep listening to this here segment, because in just a few minutes we're going to be giving away a family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego. Let's do it. 4 corners. Go around the map to give you the best stories from the entire world. TD, leave it.
Pro Soccer League that spent $1 billion to have this thing get put together. Not a lot of people showing up to watch these games. In fact, let's see which match this was here. I don't even know what it was. 264 people turned up for the last match. That doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah,
There is 20 times that number listening to us right now.
Well,
yeah,
probably
damn
more.
right.
Actually.
Yeah. By the way, the game finished 0-0. I'm sorry, 0-0.
Yeah. Nil all.
0-0.
Here's the problem with the Saudi Sport League enterprises is what they're trying to do, or at least it's been reported as, is sports wash. So I don't think they care if anybody actually watches. They're just happy that headlines are being printed about this instead of the other nefarious things.
It's the same thing with the golf
Fantastic.
league. Like, Live Golf has not gone well from a revenue generating standpoint, but they don't care because they already have all the revenue they need. It's all about publicity. So when Brooks Koepka goes on Twitter and says something about the Live Golf league and mentions that it's a Saudi family behind it, they're in the positive already.
Yeah. All right,
I
moving
also
on.
looked up the story, and for some reason, all the ads are sports bras.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm all of a sudden back into the soccer fan.
I
Could you
remember
use a little support these days?
I remember the Sunday ads in the newspaper. I would pull out the sports bra section immediately, and then I would disappear for 40 minutes. Okay, listen.
40 minutes?
Sometimes you gotta go through that ad a couple times. Anyways, the point is, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a major update. They're welcoming a new buck. Well, actually, a young buck. It's Tampa Bay quarterback Baker Mayfield expecting a baby girl.
Yeah, some people just shouldn't be allowed to reproduce. Baker's not one of them.
What? Thought that was going to go a different
Do
direction.
you think they're going to name the little girl Buck Norris?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Right after our show mascot Buck.
Guys, it's weird that we didn't get a phone call for this one, but it has been announced what the perfect male and female buttocks look like.
Good.
And according to source, it's all about the waist to hip ratio. Weird
I
they
like
didn't
this.
interview us
Yeah.
for this one.
Not just source, science. According to science. Yeah. A waist to hip ratio. Now, look, if you look, you scroll down here in this article, there's a number of butts.
Yeah, let's see it.
That you can vote on here. Now, the Kim Kardashian really oversized.
That'd be
buttock.
number 2, right?
I believe it's number 8.
Yeah, check it
Yeah.
out. Actually, show flesh because he can't
that
see
was-
your screen.
Yeah.
So that's in at number 8.
Yeah, which is it's very large, very round, and the hip to buttocks ratio very far off there.
Yeah, I get it. In 7th place, right behind there, nearly took last place. It's the flat butt, no hips.
Yeah, no hourglass at all.
Yeah, first place though. I mean, we're looking at a thin waist and a decent sized hip. That's to me, that's the butt I'm looking for.
So wait, you're the first place guy. TD, what's your option? I got what I'm looking at. that I think
Let's
is
see here. If I'm looking at I'd probably go second place.
Actually, no, I just changed my mind. I like second place.
I was going to say I like 2 also.
Okay. Second place. The ratio a little bit further off, a little more junk in the trunk.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
If now on the men's side of things, if you scroll all the way down and want to look at
No,
a
we don't
bunch
need
of
to do that.
men's butts,
I'm going. I'll tell you what. first place kind of looks like my butt.
Yeah,
Actually, no.
No.
The further you scroll, it looks like mine. Damn it.
oh God. Yeah.
Rich
Well,
has got
so I
that
don't know.
ice cream scoop.
I don't even know how to describe it.
I got
Like,
a
they just
little
look
bit.
like butts.
Those look like muscular man asses.
Yeah.
That's what they look like to me.
First through fourth are definitely muscular man asses. Yeah. It's a little more dad bod.
You know those tournaments that have become popular now where it's called death diving?
Oh, yeah.
Where people jump off super high places. And
Terrifying.
Yeah, horrifying. They actually are asking to use Rich Ornberger's ass as the diving board next year.
Fair cheek.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Moving on to a bizarre story. So, former Bengals star wide receiver TJ Hushmanzada, who I'm buddies with. TJ's been on this show before. He's a homie. He had to file a restraining order against a woman who was so obsessed with him that she actually changed her last name to Hushmanzada, which now means that I have to text him, I'm sorry, I've recently also changed my name to Hushmanzada. I will quickly rectify this situation.
It's a
But
cool last
Hornberger was boring.
It's a cool last name.
Yeah.
Hushmanzada.
Right, but probably not as cool if some woman is stalking you so much to the point that she's changing her last name because she's married to you. In
I would
her
be-
mind.
I would be flat.
I am going to text him right now. Dude,
You would be flattered? Do you think Kendall would be flattered?
Probably not.
Yeah, no,
You know,
not
we
so
got a
much.
whole town named after us. Fletcher Hill's just up the road.
Yeah, definitely named right
I
after.
feel like I should be entitled to property in Fletcher Hills.
Probably. Speaking of property, if you have any property out in Imperial County, you may want to hang on to that a little bit. So the El Centro area, Salton Sea, basically from Ocotillo out to the Arizona border, they are sitting on not a literal gold mine, but a lithium gold mine. They think that there's so much lithium in the ground there to make batteries for all the things we need batteries for, especially with the electric car boom. There's enough lithium in the ground to make 375 million lithium car batteries. All of a sudden, property out in El Centro worth a little bit more money.
I wasn't paying any attention. I'm so sorry.
Well, we gotta go to break. But first,
I was trying to spell Hushmanzada, and I realized I have no idea how to spell it. And then I started spelling it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there are so many letters."
I don't know what that says, and both of you looked at me like, I don't even know what the hell that means.
well, it's time to go to commercial break because we got Doc Chow coming up next. But first,
Yeah, Doc Dave Chow is going to join us to talk about some ankles and some knee injuries, but I want to talk to you about my teeth, all right? If you're looking for a world-class dentist, all procedures are done in-house in the same office with state-of-the-art technology, then you need to go to my dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby. Ocean View Dental has changed my life, and I don't mean that flippantly. This is a real story. So I needed a tooth removed. I needed 3 implants put in, and I was really honestly kind of terrified to do all that work, and I didn't know when during a busy broadcast schedule I was going to be able to fit this in. I had other dentists who told me that this was going to take a year and a half, that I was going to be banged up for like a week and a half after initial extraction, and that I wasn't going to be able to return to work after the implants first go in, and all of these like horror stories. And also I was going to have to visit like 3 offices to even get started, to get imaging done, x-rays, and all the things leading up to the actual extraction and implementation. This was awful. But then I went and I saw Dr. Jordan Colby, and it was all based off of Kogo News' LaDonna Harvey. She has had work with him. And I was like, wow, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll talk to Dr. Colby. He explains the whole process. He showed me a digital image of the procedure and my entire mouth. He explained exactly what was going to happen, and I was 100% confident that this is my dentist from now and forever. Okay, he did the work, and it was amazing. I didn't miss a single day on air. He did the work in 3 months. I was told it was going to take 18 months. He did it in 3 months. And now I can chew my food. I was missing teeth in the back of my mouth for years. Cracked a bunch of molars playing football. It was awful. So go to oceanviewdental.net. His motto is, no matter your situation, he can help you create a confident smile. His advanced specialty is implants. And after doing all my homework, I knew that he was my guy. Dr. Colby has built a world-class family-oriented dental practice at Ocean View Dental. He's got one office in Fallbrook as well. excellent dental care for you and your entire family. He's got all of the toys, right? The advanced dental technology, digital x-rays, 3T CT imaging, dental lasers. I've used all these things. He had to use all of them to help me with my oral dental situation. And you're treated like family when you walk through the doors at Ocean View Dental. So again, the website is oceanviewdental.net. Go and see Dr. Jordan Colby today.
Yeah, but also we got tickets to give away.
Ooh,
Yeah,
we
SeaWorld
almost
tickets. SeaWorld ticket. Almost forgot. We almost messed it up again. But
again.
Call number 5 right now, 844-570-1360, and you're going to win yourself a family 4-pack to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration happening now through January 7th. Dr. David Chow joins us next.
This update is presented by Staples Store. Starting off with Monday Night Football here, the Bengals upset the Jags last night 34-31 in overtime in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence leaving that game with a scary ankle injury. Dr. David Chow from SixScore.com, Pro Football Doc on Twitter. He's going to be joining the show in just a second to talk about it. College hoops, Aztecs back in the AP Top 25. They're going to be taking on Grand Canyon tonight on the road. Tough road matchup. Grand Canyon has one of the better home court advantages in the country. Game will tip off at 6 o'clock tonight. Pre-game coverage gets going with John Schaefer and myself at 5:30 from here in San Diego. Heisman Trophy finalists have been announced in college football. LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, Washington's Michael Penix Jr., and Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Staples Holiday Deals means amazing savings for the holiday season on hot tech like laptops, game systems, earbuds, and more. Right now, save up to $350 on select PCs. In-store only. Offer ends 12/23. See an associate for details. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760 just gave away those SeaWorld tickets, but we still have a pair of tickets to go see Depeche Mode at Pechanga Arena. It's happening tomorrow night. Concert's sold out, so the only place you're getting these tickets is if you are listening to this show. You got to keep it locked in, and you probably want to. This segment, very important, as Dr. David Chow is going to join us here to talk about some injuries around the NFL.
All right, so the doc is ready. The doc is in. All right, SixScore.com is where you can find all of the information on NFL injury updates, NBA injury updates, as we have in-season tournament action going on. Doc David Chow, though, we got to start here. Trevor Lawrence goes down in the fourth quarter, gets stepped on by his own teammate, hobbles to the locker room. We discussed this when we opened the show. That was a really long walk. Why didn't they put him on a cart?
Well, Rich, come on. First of all, it's easy to second guess. But look, having been there, there have been many times where a player has waved the cart off. As a matter of fact, there was one player that was on the Chargers that I thought he had a lateral tibial plateau fracture, and he said, "Don't bring the cart." He walked off the field, and years later he thanked me because he said that ended up being my last active play in the NFL, and I wanted to walk off the field. Now, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is that dramatic. The second thing is, if I can from video immediately say, that doesn't look that bad. Stepped on, inversion ankle sprain. Sure, the knee looks bad. It's contorted and the whole deal. You think the doctors there that are palpating already know it's not a fracture? I mean, you think they're going to let him walk off a fracture? I mean, it's easy to second guess this kind of stuff. And actually, your buddy Nick Hardwick was over last night. We were watching and we were doing the analysis. And look, if you think back to the really big Buffalo Bills Damar Hamlin injury, there was a lot of grief that was given to the ambulance crew and the medical crew to say, why did you park the ambulance on the field? Why didn't you rush him to the hospital? Well, let me tell you why. On the field, there's 25 medical personnel. In the ambulance, there's 2 or 3, the driver and the 1 or 2 people in the back. So the principle is to stabilize first. So there are medical explanations for a lot of these things. And I get why a layperson would ask the question, but there are explanations.
Doc, I mean, how long do you think that he'll be out? Is it something that he can come back and play next week, or is it better off if he takes a couple weeks off? What would your analysis be?
Too early to tell. However, when I was in-game live on Twitter Live, I made a mistake. I thought it was the Thursday night football game. That's how confused I was. I was like, in 10 days, he's going to be able to play. Well, it's going to be 6 days. All right. That's how confused I was. But I wouldn't rule him out right now. Right now, is he going to be 100%? No. But the good news is there's no fracture. The good news is it's not long-term. It's not even short-term IR. And is there a guarantee he's playing in 6 days? No, but it's not impossible right now. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars would say, we'll take the loss as long as this Trevor Lawrence thing isn't serious.
Doc, staying in the AFC, staying with the quarterback position, but the Steelers and Kenny Pickett, this one looks like it could be a little more long-term. Steelers on their way to another plus 500 season, but they might not get there without Kenny Pickett. What's his diagnosis?
Well, apparently he came into the game with a high ankle sprain, and now it got worse, and he's had some sort of surgery for it, likely tightrope type procedure. It's going to be a few weeks here before he can return. So it's Mitch Trubisky. Look, this Thursday, I got it right this time. This Thursday, the game is Mitch Trubisky versus Bailey Zappi. I think the total might start to drop below 30.
Hey, Doc, when I look at the film of recent injuries, Mark Andrews, Ramondre Stevenson, this hip drop tackle, the more I see it, the less I like it. And the more I think it should be legislated out of football. This is a violent game, and this is definitely a game where you're going to get hurt. As you know, being a former orthopedic surgeon and doc in the NFL, it's 100% injury rate. However, there are certain plays that they've removed from the game because they're too violent, like the horse collar tackle. Nobody seems to have a problem with that going away. Well, some people did, but the majority of people seem to say, yeah, that's pretty dangerous. This hip drop tackle, I don't think people really understand how devastating it can be. What side of the fence do you land on? Should this be something that should be outlawed?
Well, look, I'm a medical person from the NFL. I'm not a rules person. I didn't play the game. Strictly from a medical perspective, there's no question the hip drop tackle is dangerous. Why is it dangerous? You're landing on the backs of their legs. Mark Andrews or Ramondre Stevenson. Even 3+ years ago, Kenyon Drake with the Raiders broke his ankle, and
I remember that.
How dangerous it was. So you grab around the waist, you're kind of hanging on for dear life, and you're trying to make a living for your family. You're trying to get the guy down as much as you can. So you throw your body weight on it. But if you're grabbing around someone's waist and you're trying to bring them down with your body weight, is it a shocker that you actually swing towards the back of their legs because they're running forward, and then the unfortunate happens? From a danger perspective, it is absolutely there. But what are you going to do to legislate it? Is this now flag football? I don't know. Do you make an argument to say, look, as an offensive player, a la Tom Brady, what he said, that's a dangerous play. You don't want to get landed on the back of your legs. You need to go down, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, what is it? Is it a quick whistle if you have both arms around their waist? Do you just have to stay on your feet and get drugged 5-6 yards and 10 yards and look silly? I don't know the answer to that. And it's not always that simple. They'll look at it. Of course, everyone knows the horse collar tackle is illegal, but I'll let you know something else. It's just as dangerous to pull a guy down by his hair from behind as a horse collar. And that is not illegal because it's considered part of the body, not the nameplate or the horse collar. So there are some idiosyncrasies in the rules.
Doc, Derek Carr gets hurt again this season. Now he's in concussion protocol. Is he out this week?
I think chances are, unfortunately, good that he's out, because in theory, this is his second time in concussion protocol this season. Yeah, that hit was huge. It was like a car accident, shoulder and back and chest and head. But it's just not that. I think he's more hurt than injured there. It's the fact that if this is indeed his second concussion, it's certainly his second time in the concussion protocol this season. Those don't exit in 1 week. He exited quickly last time. I think it's going to be Jameis Winston for now.
There he is, Dr. David Chow. He joins us every single week during the NFL season right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. You can find him on X at Pro Football Doc. Also, SICScore. That's SICScore.com. Really, really cool interface on that website. You could subscribe. There's a lot of free information as well. And truly, it's exactly what you think it is. Sports Information Central Score. They score all the team's health. They score players' health, likelihood to return. If you're a fantasy football user or if you bet on sports, you need to go to SICScore.com today. Hey, Doc, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Rich.
There he goes, Dr. David Chow. Okay, coming up next, we wrap up, take a quick look forward at week 14 in the NFL. And also,
boys, we got a new friend alert here.
What?
I was on it last night, prizepicks.com/Fletch. That's what you need to type into Google or Bing or whatever web browser you use, because when you do that, prizepicks.com/Fletch, you're going to get a matching first deposit of up to $100. Prize Picks is the number one, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Prize Picks, that special offer, it's $100 first deposit match. One more time, it's prizepicks.com pricepicks.com/Fletch. Thank you so much to every single person who went out and downloaded the app or went to the website yesterday. I got all your messages. I do really appreciate it. All you really do on PrizePicks, you select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Super easy. If you have the skills, you could turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. I did that 2 weeks ago. It is a good feeling. Again, head on over to prizepicks.com/Fletch. Start playing today. Not to mention, with basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the special leagues. Today's Tuesday. They got the special Taco Tuesday League. You got to go check out PrizePicks. My favorite part about it is something that happened to me last night. If you have a 6-person entry and only 4 of your projections are correct, you still win a portion of your entry. PrizePicks is no joke, man. They're number 1 on the continent for a reason. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players, sports, and stat types. Go to prizepicks.com/Fletch to match your first deposit up to $100. prizepicks.com/Fletch. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
All right, coming up next, we have the solution. If you want a great football team, Forbes has cracked the code in the NFL. We'll read you their results next. So the holiday season's coming up, and you owe it to yourself to do something about those unwanted pounds hanging around your hips. Maybe your butt's getting a little big, right? The belly's starting to hang over the belt. I'm speaking from experience, so don't think I'm poking fun here. Honestly, I hated the way my body looked on one side of working with SD fat loss, And I love the way things are looking now. And it's all thanks to Wayne and Chloe over at sdfatloss.com. They've really dialed it in for the first time in my life where it's simple. It's easy to follow. They have a strategy. Every single day they have a strategy for you. They have an integrated application so you can check things out on your phone. They have a website. So if you're more comfortable there from a desktop, easy to use website, you could call them anytime. You can message them anytime. sdfatloss.com is a game changer. And I know what everybody's thinking, like, well, the holiday seasons are coming up. I'm going to eat tons over Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever way you celebrate. Don't wait. Don't wait. Get started now, because the crazy thing about this, SC Fat Loss, in the first couple weeks that Fletch and TD and myself were doing this, we lost cumulatively over 50 pounds.
That's insane. That is actually an insane number.
So I was first to the races. Like, I was down like 17 pounds within the first 2 weeks. Ben was down 12. You were down 10.
Yeah.
We all looked at each other. We're like, is this even safe?
And by the way, I was pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
I was pretty skeptical going in. And when you just follow along with how you're supposed to do it, it works.
Well,
It
what's
works
2 weeks
fast.
from now? Think about it in your own life. 2 weeks from now is holiday parties.
Yep.
You want to be 10, 15 pounds down by then? You could.
You could.
Boom.
Yeah, it's just a matter of picking up the phone and calling 858-665-3211. That's 858-665-3211, or go to sdfatloss.com. So this is what we did. Quick consultation, free consultation. You're not on the hook for anything up front with Wayne and Chloe. They explain to you how it's all going to go. And then once you agree to start the process, you can get going on this. And by the way, you can save $200 right now on a special holiday season preview, right? You get to save $200 on the whole plan, and it's easy. There's no shakes or weight loss meals, no counting points or calories. You're not going to get any injections or hormone transfusions or all some. Look, there's a lot of buzzwords out there that you're going to sift through when you're looking for diets or weight loss tips. It's none of that. It's just good people guiding you through an easy process for real results. So again, if you're looking to lose a couple LBs before the holiday season, sdfatloss.com. Welcome back. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. San Diego Sports 760. We are flying through a Tuesday here. My goodness.
I can't wait for next year.
We are. We have a lot planned in 2024 as the days are ticking down. We are 20 days outside of Christmas, boys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Was it, so 19 shopping days left?
Ooh, everybody's spending money. Well, everybody except for the smart teams in the NFL.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
Forbes broke it down for us.
Right. And we know Forbes. I mean, Forbes, they're the money people.
They know money.
They know how to do this.
They know how to do things with money, and they know how to make NFL teams better. So TD threw this article on the rundown today. And at first I overlooked it. I was thinking to myself, like, no, Forbes doesn't have the plan that you need to follow. And then I was like, he was like, dude, pump the brakes. Just read the article. I'm like, okay. So then I checked out. I'm like, no, they're geniuses. So break this down for us,
Okay,
TD.
so the article, the title is "The NFL Should Adopt the Brock Purdy Rule."
Go
okay?
on.
The NFL should adopt this rule. It's easy to do. All you have to do is find an amazing quarterback and don't pay him anything.
Done. Done deal.
Who would have thought?
Easy.
Wow.
This is literally I don't know, probably a 2-page article that says that.
So
Duh.
Other NFL teams are doing this so wrong
Wait,
because
so-
they're paying their quarterback so much money.
Hang on, Rich. TD,
Dumb.
are you telling me that because the Niners are only paying Brock Purdy like $700,000, they're allowed to spend
$170,000 to be exact?
But
That would be
because
the
of that-
threshold. Thank you, Forbes.
because of that, they're allowed to pay other players on their team more?
it seems
Well,
so simple. Like I picture general managers across the NFL waking up this morning, pouring their coffee, open up Forbes.com and going, oh my God, Eureka. and they're getting on the phone with their owner, and they're saying, "We're cutting Matthew Stafford." It's Les Snead on the phone, right? It's Brian Cashman with the New York Yankees.
You know
He's
what?
like,
This Patrick Mahomes guy, gone.
he's like, "We're going to use this in baseball. We're getting rid of all of our star players. We're just going.
I need you in my office immediately.
We're just getting rid of all of our star players and all the highest paid players. We're going to get guys who are cheap, and that's how we'll win."
So what is insane? You look at the game between the Niners and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts on one side is making $55 million a year.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's making, what was it, 800,000 something?
870. So Jalen Hurts making 57.5 times Brock Purdy's salary. New York Giants not real good at this rule.
No, they got the bad quarterback who they're paying a lot.
Yeah,
Dude, yeah.
That's the opposite of what you want.
Daniel Jones is making 47.5 mil a year.
So, guys, everybody is all like, "Oh, Caleb Williams, USC first overall pick, blah, 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 blah." You know what I'm going to do? If I'm the general manager with whoever the Super Bowl winning team is, I'm immediately after winning the Super Bowl cutting my starting quarterback, regardless of what we're paying him. And I'm going to the last overall pick, and I'm finding my Brock Purdy. So there.
If there's any QBs taken any earlier than the 6th round, dumb.
Stupid teams taking quarterbacks.
Boys, these tickets are sold out. The only place you're getting them is right here, and the only time you're getting them is right now.
Ooh.
Depeche Mode tickets for tomorrow night at Pechanga Arena. Call now. It's going to be caller number
6.
Caller number 6. I like it. Caller number 6 is going to Depeche Mode tomorrow night. Thank you to Dr. David Chow. Thank you to Richard Ornberger. Thank you to Travis Paul.
Dale.
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Richard.
Oh, Travis
Paul?
Richard. That's right.
I was like, who the hell are you talking
My
about?
middle name is Paul.
Please go over to our Twitter account at BigRichTD Fletch to get Jake the Snake trending. Hashtag Jake the Snake on everything you see today.
Big Snake Jake.
And by the way, a
Jake
big
the
thank you.
Snake will trend already.
A big thank you to SDFatLoss.com, offering our listeners a $200 off holiday special now through December 31st.
Love that. $200 off, scfatloss.com. Yeah, huge thanks to the hangers, the bangers, all the listeners out there, the texters, the tweeters. We'll see you tomorrow. The herd is next.